Welcome to another episode of Tomb of Annihilation. Today, we've got special guests. I think we'll start off with introductions, and then we'll go into the recap. So, welcome everybody. First and foremost, we will say hello and thank you to our wonderful, glorious Dungeon Master, Game Master Extraordinaire, the wonderful, the lovely Kashka.
Once again, I'll reinforce ass kissing does not earn you extra. Hello!
I always think every little bit helps. Alright. And then we're actually going to go reverse order this time. We're going to go with me, which is Valen. I'm playing a bard dwarf who's specialized in valor. I'm kind of the party leader only because he seems to have dragged everybody along kicking and screaming on this adventure. And then next to me is going to be Lissa.
I am Valia Bone Smasher. I'm a lizard folk barbarian. And I will not have Flippy with me this week.
He's still on your screen, don't worry.
Yeah, he's getting some much needed training.
And then next to her we have Callisto, who will not be able to join us this week. She had another commitment, so we will be kind of NPCing her in the background, if at all. And then next to her we have... and she's playing a half druid elf.
Druid half elf?
Yes, a druid half elf. And then next to her we've got Nerevar.
Tobias Salazar, at your service, human special sorcerer. And don't mention this is iron scale.
And Nerevar also has his own Twitch channel, Nerevar DZN. Check it out. And then next to Nerevar, we have our special guest, Rorax.
Hello, I'm Rex. I can't reveal anything about my character because it would ruin it for the folks in the call. But hi, nonetheless. I'm Rorax.
And for those that are unfamiliar with Rorax, she also runs a YouTube channel and a Twitch channel. Check out Rorax Plays. Once this is over, I forgot to put it in the description at the beginning, but once it's over, I will put it in the description of the videos so you guys can check out her channel as well. Next to her, we have Vorn, who is just an NPC guide. Anyway, we're going to do the recap here. Tomb of Annihilation. Our group of adventurers continues in their pursuit of the Soulmonger, an artifact said to be cursing all those who have been resurrected before to waste away to nothing. Their search has brought them to a land called Chult, where dinosaurs roam wild. In this land, our party of misguided adventurers have fought long and hard. They reclaimed an ancient stone tower from Terrafolk, where a new member of their group was released from captivity. Namely, that was Nerevar's Tobias and Irok. Difficult choices were made in Camp Vengeance, which brought them new allies in the form of a dinosaur humanoid by the name of Dragonbait and a human who seems to have a troubled ring by the name of Artus. Or as some like to call him, Artemis or Artie or whatever. Critical information and presents were gained from a visit to a wise oracle. A construct named Vorn was also found and reanimated for added help too. Our motley crew continued to battle their way back to Port Nianzaru. Once in the city, business was attended to, and passage on a ship to Port Castigliar has been secured. The group were offered a side job of apprehending an exotic animal smuggler ring, but something seems amiss as the arrest is announced. And there I leave it to you, Kashka, to take away.
Okay. So yeah, where we left off, I think Callisto was hiding in some crates and other kind of harbor refuse or equipment off to the side. Ulfgar had stepped out of the tavern and shortly after had cast a major illusion. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Major image.
Major image, yes.
Yep. And in that image were four dwarves in half plate who were kind of drunkenly staggering about. And Valia, I think you were hiding off to kind of the other end, around the corner. And then Tobias was summoning Erok around the corner as well. So everybody's kind of hiding at the moment, except for Ulfgar and his imaginary friend.
So not imaginary, they're real. They're right.
So the boat had come up to one of the piers, and one of the kind of crew had jumped off the boat and tied it off and started unloading a crate from the boat. Several carts, or 3 carts, had also pulled up. These are horse-drawn carts. Each of them had a driver, and there were a collection of kind of muscly guys who got off the back of the cart, who are clearly there to kind of, well, be muscly guys, right? Help unload and punch anybody that needs it, and all that good stuff.
Carbs and half plate, perhaps.
Yeah. So the muscly guys kind of headed down to the boat to help unload, while all these shenanigans with this major image and Ulfgar and his drunken imaginary friends were going. While that was all going on. So then Ulfgar decided to kind of, well, as one of the drivers of the cart was approaching Ulfgar, you and your imaginary friends, sorry.
I got it. They're magical friends.
All drew their weapons, and the driver that was kind of keeping an eye on Ulfgar and this group sounded the alarm to everybody on the boat and the other drivers, and that there was trouble. And then you saw, the people who were unloading the cart started to speed up their activity, and some of the muscly guys who had been heading down to help unload turned around and started heading back up towards where Ulfgar and this cart driver guy were standing kind of on the dock front having this conversation. So that's where we'll pick up. Well, actually, no, one last and very important detail. As the crate was being unloaded onto the dock and carted up towards the kind of area where the carts are, you hear from inside this crate, and there's a big, huge tarp over the top of the crate. You hear a woman's voice cry out, and that is where we will pick up. So let me move. I have prepared a little battle map, and you'll have to forgive it because if you zoom in a lot, it's going to be ugly. So don't zoom in a lot. But hopefully you guys are all kind of where you think, hopefully you're all positioned where you believe your character to be. If you're not, can you reposition yourselves now before we kind of get into what happens next?
I can't position anything.
You can't position anything?
No.
No?
Oh, never mind. Never mind. I had the movement thing improper.
Okay. So your dudes have to be okay. So your dudes are around you. I see.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. All right. Okay. So if everybody's happy, then we will pick up there. Okay. So these 2 thug guys here are moving. Heading your way, Ulfgar. What would you like to do? What is your reaction?
Well, as I said at the end of the previous stream, which I will say here, is that draw out the symbol that I was given by the Lord. I didn't even bring my notebook. I am so screwed. And say, halt. Moving in this direction with my group, saying, halt, you're all under arrest for animal trafficking. Drop your weapons. Come peaceably. We don't need to spill any blood. And he's basically running towards this group here to try and cut off any escape route that this group down here might have from just getting on land and escaping with the goods. Because our number one priority was the crate, even if we couldn't get all the thieves. Or smugglers.
Okay. And just so it's clear as well, this is the crate right here.
Yes.
Okay. Okie doke.
The crate of crying
So,
out.
Okay. And then Valia, I think you've mentioned that you were running up to this cart at the back here to cut loose the horses?
Yeah, I thought that guy had jumped off to go up to the dock or over to where Ulfgar was, but I wasn't sure. I was just going to let the horses loose so they could at least one cart down.
Okay. Do you still want to do that now you see that the driver is...
Yeah, now that we have more details, probably not. Can I see if I can try to... I'm not as stealthy as I should be, but try to maybe climb up the back and knock him out unconscious or kill him or something?
Kill him. Yeah, I mean, there's a true...
I don't want nobody killed. I'm trying to at least knock him unconscious, so,
Yeah.
you know.
And if he dies...
We just feed him back to the algae.
There's my stealth check to try to climb up.
So he's a regular dude. Let me see why it's passive. Yeah, he does not. His attention is drawn more by this weird dwarf, conglomerate that's going on over there. So
You can call me
so
a
he
party.
does not notice you.
I guess it'll be unarmed to knock him unconscious.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The question is, will you try and do it with your teeth?
Actually, just trying to do it with my hands this time.
Yeah, that misses.
Yeah.
So he just kind of shifts out the way at the wrong moment to get a better look at this Ulfgar and what's happening up there. You miss with that. At which point he becomes very well aware of it.
I just wave, hi! Sorry!
Sorry. Okay, so Ulfgar, do you want to shift your group and
I'll just move Ulfgar to start with. Let's see how far. It's difficult to read that. I'm guessing that's about 25 feet there. So then I'll try to move all these guys along with me. It's difficult with all the little things popping up.
Okay.
And his focus is more on those that are in front of him than those that are around him. He's more, where we as a group are more or less saying, put your hands up, drop your weapons, come along peaceably.
Mm-hmm.
At least the group of us are all doing the same.
Okay.
Oh no, it's Ulfgar in stereo. Please help.
not
I'm just going to throw myself into the shore and into the river over there off the shore.
So kind of surprisingly, actually, these two sailors that are down here on the other end of the cart or other end of the crate, you hear them shout something at the other guys that are carrying the crate with them, and these two head back towards the boat, and they are untying the boat.
Uh-oh.
So the boat, is it looks like the boat's about to leave. One of them actually kind of hops on board, and the other one is like busy seeing to all the ropes and ties that were, wound up when they first docked. So, that's what they're doing. But these two guys rush in to try and make contact with this first dwarf. Well, actually, they hang on one second though. They would get a Well, they have to take an action, right, to examine the image.
Yeah, let
To
me put it up there.
Yeah, it's got that. So they have to take an action to examine the image to see if they realize that it's an illusion. I don't think they'd really be taking action. They're more about taking an action to swing at it.
Yeah, I think that would work the same.
Yep. So and they're not really standing checking out, you know, how this dwarf is dressed or anything like that. They're just ready to club him. So let's move that one there. So this guy here is going to swing his mace at this guy here.
He dodges.
So, physical interaction. You know, I think that at that point, that illusion would be dismissed, right?
Oh, that was if it was like a mirror
dismissed,
image type thing. He'd pretty much just swing through the guy.
Yeah, it's not dismissed, but it's clearly an illusion
Right.
at that point. Okay, all right. So he's still hanging out there, but this dude obviously knows. And so then this other guy is going to also swing at this guy here and find the same thing. So they're starting to understand that you're kind of playing tricks with them.
I'm also understanding that they are not trying to come peaceably.
Fair enough. Okay. Let me have a look at Callisto quick. Anything? While I'm looking at this, I think she might be interested in thorn whipping. Because actually, what this driver does that was in conversation with you is he gets back on his cart. And he looks like he's ready to run away, actually. He's kind of feeling like this is not his fight. So upon seeing that, Callisto, I think, would move up. And what is her... Should not have closed her character sheet.
30 feet.
30 feet on Thorn Whip?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's... She's within range then, so she's going to try and Thorn Whip that dude. And she's going to cast it at level 1. Sure. Okay. Okay, melee spell attack. So, oh wow, she's got a nice bonus on this. Okay.
She's pretty good with that whip, and I think she would like yank the guy off the cart too.
Okay, she hits him, and so he takes 1d6 damage. Oh, great. So he takes 1 damage.
It's alright.
Okay.
We're not trying to kill him.
Yep. And yeah, you're right. I think she would just pull him off the cart. And as he's not particularly a big guy, she's able to do that. So this dude is now kind of on the ground, having taken a little bit of damage from Callisto's whip. Okay. So this guy over here with Valia, though, is going to get a bit of a reaction, right, to Valia trying to club him in the head. So he pulls out a dagger from his side and is going to try and stab you, Valia. So he's going to do the 20 plus his meager bonus. And he misses. He's clearly
just laugh at him. Ha!
This poor guy. This is not how he planned this turning out at all. He's like, I'm just a hired help. Okay. So maybe we should roll some initiatives though, because it's kind of at this point. And Tobias, I think you're probably like about 3 or 4 rounds away from Eric's finishing being summoned. So let's roll some initiative.
Excellent.
Okay, I'm gonna roll for Callisto.
Okay. Tobias.
Ooh.
Come on, dice.
Oh! I guess that makes sense, though.
That's for
Trade.
Then bandit dudes.
Hell,
Definitely going
this
for
was
more value.
rigged. Why can I?
The guys. Oop. It's crazy. I
Okay.
don't have to roll for like 6 other people.
Okay, fine. Okay, could you assign this initiative for Tobias because it doesn't show up in turn order?
Oh, the 19 is Tobias?
Yeah, it's for Tobias.
That's
I'm not sure why it's not popped on the token.
Were you clicking on the token and then hitting initiative for that character?
Yeah.
Huh, that is weird.
1 second, let me try it. Oh. The mysteries of Roll20.
It's as useful as it is perplexing sometimes.
Okay, now I can adjust it. That was 19, right? 19. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Alright. So order that. Okay. And that actually kind of makes sense. It's not funny how often that happens. Althgar, you've got these thugs in front of you swinging at your illusionary friends.
So I'm going to move this guy up. Basically, I'm moving to go between them. No, I wouldn't have actually. Hold on a second here. Sorry, it's difficult with all these guys. Yeah, right where I'm at actually would work. I will draw a shape here. You know what I'm going to do there?
Oh boy. Yep.
So he'll try and keep it minimal and just say "foos" and put his hand up when he does it. So then they need to make, oh, what was it? I don't remember. Let me.
The con saves, I think.
I think so. I don't know why it requires a dice roll. It doesn't require a dice roll. It's not a ranged spell attack either. But if I click on it, level 1, Constitution save versus a DC of 15.
Okay, first guy. Second guy. Okay. So this guy over here fails it.
Okay.
So he's going to get pushed back 10 feet.
Yep.
Okay. Boop. And what's the damage? Is the 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's actually pretty good.
Okay.
And the other guy does not get pushed back.
Yeah, the guy does not get pushed back, right?
Right.
Yep, and he takes half damage. Okay.
All right.
Got it.
So at this point, I don't know how far Ulfgar can move. Go here, 15, and then from there, another 10. He could get closer, I guess. I don't. But this is a stairway here, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So, did this guy that I'm pointing at, did he like fall down the stairs, or is he still just on the stairway?
He's still kind of. Well, you know what? He can make a dex save. Let's see how he does. He falls on his behind.
It'd be awesome
Okay.
if he fell in the water.
He's kind of. He didn't. He is prone.
Okay. Well, Ulfgar's just going to try and move up, I guess.
Prone. There we go. He's kind of stumbled.
5, 10, 15. Any further than that provokes attacks of opportunity. He'll move up and have his crew move through with him. If they want to take attacks on them, they're welcome to. I don't know if he can actually fit there.
Well, the two that they know, right, are yeah, this guy will swing at one of these guys in the back because he's still not sure which one is the real you.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the ones closest. So he's gonna swing at this one here.
Okay.
Oh, actually, I'm gonna start adding little doodads to these guys, like, because
Just that
I'm
they've
gonna
been
lose track of.
identified as illusions.
Yeah, these guys are the jig is up. Okay, he's starting to figure it out, Wolfgar.
Yeah. And then let's see.
50-50 chance next time.
I will give inspiration to Valia.
I'm gonna need it, I'm sure.
So,
Right.
and as it hasn't been
Okay.
used this time, I will do the TLDR of it. There you go. Done.
Okay, nice.
Again, saying, I don't want to hurt you. Drop your weapons. That was it.
All right.
How badly did that hurt the guy that did get injured? The other guy took half damage, by the way.
Yep, he's got half the damage on him. He looks a bit battered, but not too bad.
Okay.
Alright, so then Arok. So he's got another 2 rounds before Arok is done. So Callisto is gonna he's gonna run up to this dude and try and decide how she would subdue him. So look. I think could she just use, let's see, like that. I think she's gonna thorn whip him again. So poison spray just gives him poison effect, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's mostly just for some small damage.
Okay. Alright, so she's gonna do that. 1d20 plus her modifier. That hits him. And she's gonna do 1d6 damage.
And she, of course, could move him 10 feet again.
So she's done another couple of points of damage to him, and she's really just trying to, you see her trying to just really entangle him kind of in the whip so that he's kind of secured almost. Okay, that's what Callisto's going to do. So Tobias?
Actually, for me, I'm rooted. I'm not able to move until the summoning will be done.
Okay.
So I'm actually have to skip the turn.
Okay. Alright, thanks. Then the thugs.
Can't get you guys in the fight soon enough. Haste!
So this guy's gonna come down here. They seem pretty cocky. And these 3 of them are gonna try and like move the crate up closer. Ooh. Come on, go. Move the thing. Just go a little bit. Oh. Alright, fine, stay in there. Not gonna fight with it. So the crate, yeah, they seem to be kind of interested in doing that. So.
Who seems to be interested in the crate? Oh, these 2 guys down here?
Yes, those 2 guys down there.
Gotcha.
Okay, so the other guy who is prone, come on, do that. He's gonna stand up. And he's gonna take a swing at you.
Makes sense, he's right next to me.
Yep, you guys are kind of battling on this little. They're like stone steps, cut into the face down to the pier.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are kind of tussling around on there. So he's gonna take a swing at you. He's got a mace. But I think that misses.
Yes, it does.
Okay. Oh, you know what though? His friend is within. Sorry. Actually, I think he has advantage because he's got one of his allies close by.
Oh. Pack
sorry
tactics. Oh boy. Then that would hit. My armor class isn't quite that high.
Okay. Alright, so then this one, I think I want him to make a perception check to see if he notices that his friend just made connection with a real dwarf as opposed to these fake ones that he's been swinging at. Oh, he rolls a note. Sorry, Oscar. He figures you out based on his friend connecting. So he's going to do the same. Going to swing at you.
It's too bad it's a nat 20.
Yeah. Oh. Speaking of nat 20s.
Ow.
How's Oscar looking?
Well, that's what, 7 damage plus the 7 damage plus the 5 damage?
Yep.
So that's 19 points.
That's 19.
Alright, hold on a second. I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to type it into a calculator. Because otherwise I'm going to mess it up. Alright.
It will be 19.
There you go. So I'm a little bit more than half health.
Okay. Alright.
Good thing I've got that new armor, huh? Everybody crits on me. Oh, jeez.
Half-plate doesn't help against crits, unfortunately.
Anti-crit half-plate armor.
Okay. So, so it's these kind of bandity guys' turn. So this guy's gonna, the guy on the pier down here is continuing to detach the boat from the dock. This guy up here, he is done. He is like, screw this. I did not sign up for this, so he's starting to take off.
Oh boy.
So he's kind of gonna become slightly detached from his car. Why does this happen? This is so weird.
That's fine. That's what happens when you take off in a hurry.
It won't let me move it. That's the really annoying part. Alright, anyway, he's on his cart. He and his horses are kind of taken off.
Okay.
This guy over here is going to try and take one more stab at Valia. He is losing confidence quickly. 1d20 plus his critical bonus. Yeah,
Nope.
That's his major confidence loss right there. And when he misses you again, perhaps as like his kind of bonus action, he just drops the dagger and puts his hands up like, oh, don't hurt me. He's really like cringing, like, oh god, I picked the fight with the wrong thing, the wrong person.
I just like growl really deep, run. That's all I tell him, run.
Oh yeah, okay. He will take that and use his move. He needs to use a bit of his movement to get down off the cart, but then he will spend the rest of his movement heading away from you as fast as his little legs will go. Okay. Meanwhile, Callisto is trying to actually tie this guy up over here.
Stab.
So,
I surrender.
I think he's going to make, I'm going to have this guy make a bit of a strength check to see if he can resist. Yeah, he breaks free of Callisto's bonds, sees his friend kind of taking off with his cart, and he's going to try and he's going to try and get back in his cart, but Callisto's going to get an attack of opportunity on him. So she's going to take that and try and stab him. Or you can't do. Okay, this is like a total newbie question, but shows you how often I play a magic-based character, but you can't use a spell as an attack, right? It's a reaction. You have to use a... Or can you use cantrips as reactions?
There are some spells that will allow reactions, like Featherfall, but typically cantrips and other spells are not usable in that way. I think a reaction for like someone leaving your space is a regular attack.
Okay, she's going to swing at it with the scimitar. Yep, she hits and does 5 damage. Oof, this guy is taking some hits. He's bleeding, trying to climb back in his cart. It's not looking pretty. Alright, so that's the bandit's turn. Valia.
Yay, I get to go. Let's see. I guess I'll hop down out of my cart, and I can move 40 feet. I can reach this first guy here, right?
Yeah. Sure. Actually, if you make an acrobatics check, I think you can reach him, because you need to, like, jump out of the cart.
Yeah, this
if
is
you, like, climb down from the cart very nicely, then...
Oh!
It's kind of like stumble out, because I'm just like, I can't believe I let that guy go.
So, take, like, a point of damage from falling on your face a bit, and then feel free to swing at that guy.
Is this where you test your new swallow hole ability? It's all subdual, honest.
Goodbye, bug.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hit him with the. I'm just gonna bite him.
That hits.
Hold on.
Ooh, okay. Take some
The
big old
second
chomp
attack.
at him. Yeah. You come away with, like, flesh.
Oh.
Oh.
That's double.
And now I'll add the 1d8 for inspiration.
Oh, nice.
Wow. Okay, so that's 8 plus 4, so 12 points of damage from that bite. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
And if he's not dead yet, I get a bonus attack.
He is not quite dead yet.
That one missed.
That one misses.
Got a bit overconfident there.
A little bit of frenzy in your eyes as you're trying to bite this thug. He looks thoroughly shocked.
Did a giant lizard just bite me?
Right. Like, you've got this kind of crocodile look as well to you as well. So he's not sure exactly kind of what just bit him. You know? Something with a lot of sharp teeth.
Yes. And that's my goal.
Okay. Yeah, he's now missing some chunks of himself, like a big kind of gaping wound on this side of his body, and yeah. Ulfgar.
This is where Ulfgar actually is getting a little bit pissed. And after seeing Valia just rip into this guy, almost kill him, which I'm guessing he's pretty bloodied at this point. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Ulfgar shouts out, "Last chance or else you start to die!" And then he...
Make an intimidation check.
Okay.
Ulfgar's mad. You get a stern talking to.
16.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, you look a bit scared. It helps that this guy's profusely bleeding from a wound in his side.
Alright, well then this is going to be the test now, isn't it? I'm actually going to move forward down here and have all of my little cloney guys walk along with me, like in the same space as I am. So like they're overlapping me in a way.
Mm.
So for the moment, I'm just going to set them over in the water, if that's all right.
Sure.
Okay.
Like walking on water.
Just because if I stack them, I'll never be able to unstack.
It's like those goblin stacks that you guys such as an Ulfgar stack.
So does the guy attack me as I try to walk away to this guy up here with the crate? Does he, basically, I'm provoking an attack of opportunity.
Yeah. From both of them.
Mm-hmm. No, I was actually just next to the one.
Okay. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. No, they don't.
Okay.
Those two don't.
Then if they don't, Ulfgar would say, Valia, take their weapons. Put them in one of those carts for now. You two! And Ulfgar will start walking up to these two. Say, drop your weapons and put that crate down. Come peaceably or face the consequences. And if they make an offensive action, he will retort in kind with a stab from his rapier. But otherwise, he will hold his action.
Okay.
How's that?
That is good. Sounds good.
Meanwhile, you see like 3 other swords like kind of sticking out of him. Being held by 3 other arms.
A bit porcupine-y.
He looks a bit weird.
Alright, so next round, Eric will show up. Callisto is again going to I don't know that she really has she's gonna try and just grapple this guy. She's gonna kinda run up to the cart a little bit and she just tries to grab him and bring him back down to the ground. So,
she could do that as a bear.
oh, she could do that as a bear. Thank you very much. She's gonna grapple him as a bear. I have no idea what bear cats are. Hang on, let me grab a bear. Oh, bear. 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 She needs to be black bear. Is there... Right, is she...
Yeah, she's black bear. She's not a grizzly yet.
She can't do the full-on grizzly.
Yeah.
Okay.
She could be an alligator if you want, but I don't think they're... It's going to get in the cart too easy.
She does. So, just a little bit better. So, she's going to get that strength check as her grapple attack. Ooh. Okay, does he... okay, remind me about grapple.
An opposed dexterity or strength check. And she does a strength check.
Okay, thank you.
Or no, it's an opposed dexterity or strength save, I believe.
Okay. Alright, yep, you see them, they're just kind of like grappling around. She can't seem to get a good grip on him to pull him down from the cart, but there's definitely kind of some tussling around going on over there.
Come peaceably or the bear eats you.
Right. Yeah.
Play dead!
Bandit's not convinced. So Tobias, I think you've got one more round left, and then you're up.
Oh.
Yeah.
Desperate. God.
I know.
The horse carts are getting away.
I know you are running on fumes.
So the thugs, this one at the front says to you, Ulfgar, there's only 2 of you. And he's going to attack you. He's going to swing at you.
I will attack as well then.
I think he's too far out of range. So there's 6 points of damage to you.
Doggone it, what's with these super hits on me? Well, I hit for 20.
That hits him.
And, hold on. 4 points of piercing rapier. And he hits me for 6 bludgeoning. Right.
He does.
There we go. A little bit less than half now.
Yeah, he's kind of out of range of his friend, though. So he's not getting his pack tactics.
Good.
And these 2 up here, the one, Dahlia, the one that you bit, he just kind of drops his mace. And these are really like rudimentary, kind of crude-looking maces. They're not particularly nice, you know. These guys are obviously not, you know, equipped with quality gear. It just kind of get the job done gear, right? So he just kind of drops his mace and he's just watching you like, not trusting that you're not going to chomp him again. And, he sees bits of his own flesh hanging from your teeth, and he's just like really, really kind of afraid. This other guy over here, though, he's kind of he's slowly trying to creep past. Like, okay. He doesn't want to stick, but he's not given up his weapon yet. So this is what he's probably makes it to about there. He's just kind of slowly moving away from you.
I see the measurements. Uh-oh. Here comes the quarterback sack.
And this guy at the back of the crate, he really doesn't feel like he can do much at the moment. The crate is in the way between helping his friend out, so he's going to hang out back there at the moment. He's not quite sure what's going on either. So there's all a bit of confusion at the moment. All right, on to the bandits. So this bandit here is going to continue to kind of bust a move further and further away from his cart. He's like, come on, dude, really? Just get on the cart.
No, the horses are wandering off as well. They don't want to go either.
His cart's out of control. It careens around the corner, and and he almost falls off. And,
perfect.
He's trying to make his getaway. This dude over here, he's running.
Well, he was told to do so why not?
Yeah. So let's see, how far can he run? So 60. So he's like running after his friend. Wait for me! He's just booking it. He's like over here now. And this guy here, he's gonna try and kind of kick Callisto in the face. He's up on his cart, so he's got kind of a bit of a height advantage, and he's just trying to kick Callisto, the bear, to get off of him. So he's gonna make kind of an unarmed attack, which he doesn't get a bonus for. So he's just gonna roll.
So he's trying to feed the bear his foot. Is this what you're saying?
Let's see, what's the bear's AC? Yeah, that hits the bear. So it's just 1d4, right?
Actually, it's 1 unless they're unarmed proficient, like a monk or a feat.
Let me have a look. Hang on, let me think about what he's gonna do here.
But they get to add a strength bonus to it.
Yeah. Okay, so Callisto takes a point of damage from this dude kicking her in the face. Get off me, bear! Okay.
So not a sweet treat then.
Go peacefully.
I'm trying to think. So, yeah, these guys are still. How long do you think it takes to cast off a boat?
Not very.
Probably more than like 18 seconds, though, right?
Depends on how many times they wrap the rope around the thing.
Yeah. Okay. I think he's going to take a little bit longer. He's moved over to the other thing, and he's just unwrapping it as fast as he can. Okay, and that's the end of the bandit's turn. All right, Valia.
Okay, this guy, he dropped his mace. Can I kick it? This goes down, right? The embankment next to me. So it kind of sloped down. I'm just going to kick his mace into the roll it down the embankment, tell him lay down, and I'm going to actually go to this guy.
Okay.
And I will swipe at him with the... We'll do a javelin. Just kind of... I'm not going to stab him. I just want to smack him with it.
That hits.
Sorry.
Okay. Ooh. So I can actually do that. Okay. He's looking somewhat wounded.
No, I'll smack him another time.
Okay. Okay, he's got a couple of big slashes in his body, through his armor a little bit. He's wearing just kind of loose leather armor, or well, not loose, but chunky leather armor, I would say.
And again, I missed the third one with one. And I just look at him. I'm like, you do as your friend does, and you might live.
Okay.
And that's my goal.
Okay. Right, Oscar.
I didn't roll any concentration checks. Allow me to roll my first one, because I know I got...
That is true, and I forgot to hold you accountable for that.
Alright, well, I'm pretty sure I failed on that nat 20 one. So... Because... Yep, that would have failed, because he did more than 10, otherwise the DC was 10 or whatever the damage is, and he did more than 10 damage, so... And that was on the second hit. So my guys are poofed. They're no longer there. So...
The technical term.
Yeah. I still have the guy in front of me. Quick question. The crate.
Yeah.
Do I see a door on it?
It's like it's a metal, not mesh, but it's like a crisscross of metal kind of bars, you know.
Okay. So, and because it's still got the tarp over it, I really don't see locks or anything like that, or...
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. It's also dark as well.
Okay.
Do you have
Does the dock there that he's on, is it wide enough for two people, or is it just wide enough for one person behind the other? Like, how wide is it?
It is about 10 feet wide, so you could just...
So two people wide. Okay, cool.
Yeah, the blurry lines.
Yeah, I just wanted to double check.
Like, I could redraw this whole thing, or you could just live with a little blurry.
No, it's
In
fine.
this case, I'm going to walk over next to this guy. And then... How's he looking, by the way?
Like he's about to fall in the water. He's got like a small wound on him. Not
Okay.
particularly wounded.
I just need to see how my spells are doing. I know I've cast
Damned him a little bit.
one of those. I've cast one of those. Ulfgar would say, "That's it!" And then he'd say, "Foos, roll!" And he'd try and hit the guy with a level 2 Thunder Wave.
Okay.
Which, hold on a second, the DC, of course, is 15 for Constitution.
Alright.
Versus the same. Less damage than the level 1 spell. That's great. Oh, he passed. So he takes half damage. And he is not pushed. Doggone it. Doggone it.
You wanted it in the drink, I know. But
Alright.
okay.
And then he will inspire 40, 50? Is that 50? I think that's 50. I don't think that he could see her though, so he would
like
inspire Valia again.
Okay. Alright.
And that's it.
Okay. So Eric comes into being before you, Tobias. He's materialized.
Finally.
Yeah.
Where have you been?
Yeah.
You hear us yelling, "Stop the ship!"
Took you so long. Okay, how far is this?
That is 150 feet.
It's a pretty good distance.
Pretty good distance. Yeah, Argus. I think he would be able to cover half of this distance, as using pounce and with the fly.
Okay. Yeah,
How far is his distance?
You mean his range?
how far? Yeah, how far can he go?
40 feet.
Ups. 8, no.
Oh,
His base speed is 40.
But can't he fly faster? Or no?
Oh yeah, his fly speed might be different. Might be better.
Swifts.
Yeah, he should have a faster fly speed.
Let me check. I don't gains fly speed equal to its base speed, so I'm.
Okay.
So that's basically means I'm not. I don't have to go over around the obstacles. I can just go right through. But I do have Arc have pounce, which allows him to move while he attacks.
There's a sprint action as well, isn't there?
Pardon?
So he could. So pounce allows him to move and attack. And if he spends his action moving, so then he could actually double move and still attack.
Yeah.
So then you could go up to 80 feet and still attack. I think. That's what it sounds like.
You should be able to, or you can use your full turn without the attack to go further.
Right. Running. Yeah.
Right.
Running.
That will be 120 feet at least. So it will be around here.
Yeah, he'd definitely have to hover.
Yeah, he could just land on the guy in front of me.
Well, then you would fall off because he would push you off. He's bigger than 2 people.
It's all right. I've got featherfall. I'll slowly land in the water.
Okay. So we have that set it out. So Arg is going to move. Hang on. Select move. Move around here to the over the pier. I think this is the correct distance. It is. Here, yeah, correct.
Okay. Okay.
So then what does Tobias do?
Hang on. Tobias has a different...
You'll see. I'm not trying to use guiding mode because I'm usually overdoing it.
Let's see if there's any way you can go fast. 1 second.
So I know that certain. Well, he's not also not a regular dragon either. I know they have a pretty quick flying speed. Go off the dragon stats,
because,
right?
But he's X dragon.
Yeah, he's an Eidolon, which...
Right.
Yeah. Uses different stuff, but still.
Yeah.
Biped quadrupeds.
I want to play a giant character like that, but it has the suck instead of a breathe. That way, it's like Kirby. They just suck all the people into their mouth.
I do love Kirby.
Yeah. He gets really fat and rolls around.
Don't call them large, Lissa.
Alright.
I need to learn engage or enlarge, yeah.
Okie doke. So then I think that's, I agree that that's probably, because that's 3 times, so that's where you would be at. Okay, so let's move on to Callisto then. Black Bear versus Bandit. So he's going to, once again, try to grapple this guy. How much life does he have left? Okay. Yeah, actually, he's kind of, he's not going to resist. So basically, Callisto, as a bear, now has this, like, she has him in a bear hug.
She could just sit on him.
So,
just lick his face.
She's kind of pulled him down. He feels like he doesn't really, so he doesn't resist. She just kind of is grappling this guy and just has him pinned.
Getting this image of the bear just kind of going, ruh, 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 just like this. Just pouncing on him, just pushing him in the ground.
You're just gonna sit on him as a black bear, you know. That does the job, basically. Alright, Tobias. Got these two dudes next to you trying to make a break for it. Or close to it.
Okay. I'm going to use guiding bolt.
Good job.
Good choice. I'm going to cast guiding bolt on this driver.
Okay. Wait, which one?
On the driver.
Oh, okay. This guy?
Yeah, correct.
Got it.
That's actually first classic. Tobias, guiding bolt. Hits.
That hits.
Still not damage.
That's better than my level 2 thunder crap. That's good.
Yeah, but I either tend to miss with this, or I'm just completely obliterate everything on its path.
You see him take this massive whale of radiant damage right in the back. Like he just, he flails forward, and you think he's going to fall off the cart for a minute, but he manages to hold on. But he's haggard at this point. He's just like, you see him like he's leaning now in the cart. He's almost kind of slumped completely over to the side.
I'm alright with that.
Okay, we can move on.
Okay. Alright, then the thugs. This one here drops his weapon like a good boy and just kind of...
Oh, what a sweetheart.
I just like smile real big, blood and everything. Thank you.
You use someone else's hand to wipe the blood off your mouth.
I still have the... No, I don't have the null arm. That's right, I left it with Flippy, didn't I?
Yeah.
You're just gonna beat him with no one.
Well, I do have monkey tail. I do have a fluffy monkey tail.
Okay. This guy is still kind of not convinced, and he sees that you're a bit wounded, so he is going to swing at you one more time, unfortunately, Ulfgar.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really. Oh, and he
Yep.
misses. But his friend, seeing him struggle a little bit, is going to try and slip around there. Let's see, 5, 10, 15. Yep, he can make it just to there. And he's going to try and do the same. These guys are not.
Yeah.
And he gets advantage at this point because.
Oh,
Yep.
the pack tactics. Doc on
He
it.
gets because the
Oh,
sound
this
next
was
to
the 22s. Come on. All right, 6 bludgeoning. Come on. 1,
6
2,
bludgeoning.
3, 4, 5, 6. Looking a little bit haggard. But hey,
that's
you know,
why
that's
they're
Ulfgar, so.
Excited to surrender to the mostly dead dwarf. Okay, any other thugs around? No. No, they're okay. So then, continuing on with the bandits. This guy here looks a little panicked now. He's kind of come around, sees you around the corner, and just shoot at his friend. So he decides actually that is not the correct direction to run at all, and is just going to kind of book it back in the other direction. So
We've got agents everywhere.
so he can. So he's kind of running actually almost back towards his cart.
Excellent.
So he's about there.
I should have let the horses go.
Okay, and then this guy up at the top here, let me move that out of the way. I think he feels like if he sticks around, he's gonna die. So he whips the horses and off he and the cart go, and they are gonna disappear off the map at this point. So yeah, I'm sorry. So they've kind of.
I should arm for the wheels, or for the horse at least.
That guy did not have many more hit points than a horse, so he felt like that was his best option to stay alive. Stay alive. Okay, and I think this guy has one more round of untying, maybe, or maybe it's 5 more rounds of untying. You don't know. I'm saying things out like that. Okay. So bandits are done. Valia.
Okay, I just see this guy over here, like, running back. I'm like, what? I said, I told you to run! And this guy, I'm assuming he's not a threat to me anymore because he dropped his... And I just look at him, I said, I'm going over here, and I'm going to go to this guy.
Okay.
And I'll just bite him.
That hits? Pretty sure. That hits. I have crappy leather armor on, so. 6. That also hits.
That's what I used to wear. And then everybody started 22ing on me. Those darn pack tactics.
And with that one, I'm just going to push him into the water. Because I promised I would try not to kill any of them because they asked nicely. So after the whole fiasco with the last prince, I'm like... Because in my head, I'm thinking if anybody dies, they're immediately going to come for us. So I'm just going to push them into the water, wounded and all. Okay. I don't need to make any kind of roll for that, really.
Well, I'm going to use that 19 as, or the 24 total as your strength roll. Okay. And I'm just going to give him, he has a shitty strength, so I am going to give him a roll to see if he can resist, and he cannot. So this guy, maybe he's like there-ish. You give him a good shove, and he's in the water.
Okay. And I will move up one more square because that's the last of my movement. And I will stare this guy down and tell him, jump. And that's all I'm going to say, and that's my round.
All right.
Seems to be working so far, so I'm just like, okay.
Fair enough. Wolfgar.
Bonus action, healing word.
Good choice.
At 3rd level. It doesn't work, I forgot. Healing word. I forgot to reassign it. I knew one of the spells didn't work, I couldn't remember which one. 1d4. Cast it at 2nd level or higher, 1d4 for each level. So it's 3d4 plus 4. So let's... And it's going to be what? 4? 13. All right. So with that, Ulfgar heals himself. And that was what, 13? So that's 25. He then looks at the guy in front of him, looks at Valia, and then just kind of holds his hand out and says, "The keys to the crate, please. And your weapon." And then he just stands there waiting. And if the guy tries to attack him, Ulfgar will hold his action to attack back.
Okay. Alright. Erok.
Well, since finally Argus is joining the action, he's going to fly up to this guy who's trying to untie the boat, and he's going to use tail slap with grabbing.
That's awesome.
He's like, no. Bad.
Bad bandit, bad.
Hang on. So is it the 10 to hit, right?
Yeah, his intent to hit.
Oh, his armor. He's got a little. So it slaps him, but he seems to kind of doesn't seem to do him any harm. His armor deflects the damage.
Yeah, but the main goal is to disturb what he's doing.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. All right. Callisto is going to continue giving that guy a big old bear hug. And oh, sorry, Tobias. What would you like to do? Sorry.
Hang on. This one and that one, they are tied. Correct? Is that correct, or they are free to go?
No, they're wounded really badly and laying on the floor, basically.
They're
They have no
wounded.
weapons, they're bleeding.
Yeah, they're wounded and they kind of you consider them like they're down on one knee kind of thing.
Meanwhile,
When
this guy,
Talia was there, they had their hands up, but
meanwhile,
Okay,
this
I'm
guy
going
back
to
here just keeps
move-
running back and forth, going. "Ah,
Okay, I'm going to move into the middle of the road, and then how far is he?
how far is wait?
40 feet.
Uh-oh. Goodbye, bandit. I know it was your first day on the job, but
He's like, I have 5 kids to feed.
5 feet cube. How much? It's. I'm going to use a mold earth and just kind of dig hole for him, just to fill in.
okay. So you're putting it like kind of in front of him here, so he, as he's moving.
Yeah, kind of right before him.
Okay. All right.
Somewhere in here.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure. Okay. Anything else? Any bonus actions you'd like to spend?
Any bonus action? Actually, I would like to help Callisto.
Okay.
So I'm going to move a little bit more further.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so you're helping corral that bandit. Okay, so let's deal with this thug first. Yeah, he looks at the two of you like, and you can see there's a little bit of panic in his eyes. He's still trying to be like, I'm the muscle here, but there's a little bit of panic in his eyes, and he just kind of uses his action to disengage from you both, and steps backwards a little bit, and then turns around and leaps into the water. So he and his friend are busy kind of treading water right now, trying not to sink with all their armor and everything on.
I need a spell called Concrete Shoes.
I am swimming with the fishies.
Yeah, they're about to be. His friend is kind of like he's swimming a little bit off to the side so he can grab onto something so he doesn't drown. But these two up here are both kind of like looking around, like, is anybody looking? And they're gonna make a run for it. They just watch their friends get launched. So that guy got pretty launched. So they're both gonna kind of run away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so thugs are running away, bandits are trying to run away. Everybody's scattering. It's the kind of like chaos that you would expect when this kind of activity is interrupted. This guy does stumble in your pit there and falls prone. Whoop. So he's kind of he took a little bit of face plant there. This guy here is just thoroughly detained by Callisto, and this guy down here is going to try and back at Erok. He gets a scimitar out from his belt and swings at Erok and probably misses. I'm pretty sure 9 misses.
Yeah, 9 misses.
Okay. You see Erok sees this guy here he's just trying to cut through the ropes at this point. Screw untying them. This is all going to shit. He needs to exit as quickly as possible. So he's using his action to cut through the ropes. Okay.
Did he succeed?
It's going to take him probably more than one action to do that. He's a big one.
Yeah, but I'm sure he'll not be going anywhere soon because he cannot pilot this vessel by himself alone.
You do, and actually, well, Erok would see that he's not the only one on board. I've got some other guys like on a different layer so that you guys can't see them, but from Erok's vantage point, especially being like high up in the air, he does see a few other crew members kind of running around. But that's only Erok that sees that. So, okay, Valia.
Okay, well, I laugh at the guy who jumps in, and I'm going to, if I go there, if you can see where I'm pointing, will I be kind of on, did they already pull, like, the plank that you walked to the ship and the dock? Did they already pull that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what,
so
like, this guy was doing.
Okay, so I can't really get to that guy on the ship. So I guess I'll be mad and angry and get to the guy that Erok slapped.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
Well, so much for that one. Oh, I can still have inspiration from the last time, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you do.
Would give me an 11.
Just misses.
Okay, well, I'll do a second attack.
Suplex.
All right. Yeah, this guy. You bite into him. I really need to fix my hotkey. Bite into him, and you just kind of. Well, I mean, whereabouts are you biting? Like maybe like on the neck or something like that. And you see him,
I guess shoulder.
Yeah, and just and immediate massive blood loss, and he goes pale and kind of takes, like, he doesn't fall over, but he stumbles to one knee just with the percentage of his life that was just removed. He's not able to stay standing, so he's kind of standing on one knee and just there's just this like crater where his collarbone and his neck used to be is now this like fleshy crater.
And that's gonna miss. I was gonna tell you my last attack. I'm gonna throw a javelin at the guy on the ship, but it misses. Definitely, it's just like plunk right in the water. My third rolls have just been horrible. But then I just throw a piece of cloth on the guy on the ground, like that I have in my pack, so he could stop his bleeding. I was like, "Here, you're bleeding everywhere."
And it's like a bloody rag.
The pile of pressure, right here.
All right, that's my act. That's all my turn.
Okay. Ulfgar.
How tall is the crate?
The crate is about 5 feet tall.
Okay. If the tarp on top looks like I'd just be able to just do a quick yank of it off, I would do so and climb on top of it. If I feel that it would be, relatively easy to climb on top of.
Okay.
The meanwhile, I'd be saying to the, I'm assuming it's a human inside of some sort, or humanoid, don't worry, ma'am, we've got you. Just let us take care of the rest of the riffraff out here, and we'll have you out in a jiffy.
Okay.
And he climbs up on top. I don't know if it needs a check or anything, but then he would pull out a short bow and try shooting the guy on the boat that's trying to cut the rope.
Okay. So you pull the tarp off. And, inside. Are you looking inside, or are you just not even looking?
Well, if it's like like a cage that you could easily see into, I would probably see. But if it's still just a crate that's mostly obscured, I wouldn't be bothered with that. Just more, I don't want to slip on the tarp climbing up on top of this thing.
Okay. Yeah, so you see the tarp is just like draped over the top of it.
Okay.
So you pull the tarp off, and it is just like a heavy kind of metal cage, you know. So it's like a lattice, though, instead of just being like vertical bars, it's like a crisscross, you know. So you see inside. Well, Rorax, would you like to describe what Ulfgar sees?
You see Ayla. Hang on. I got my description here. So, you see what you at first probably assume is a hostage woman sitting on a horse. But as you're climbing up the cage, your eyes adjust and you notice that this woman has no legs. Wait, no, that woman is attached to the horse, and that horse has no... She's a centaur.
Gotcha.
And she fills up pretty much the entirety of the cage. She does not look comfortable at all. She looks distraught as heck, and dirty, and like she's been in there for a while. But you can make out from her that she's got these spiralesque tattoos all over her body, and she's just gonna scream out, "Let me out!"
Okay. I guess by pulling off the tarp and climbing up, would I have seen a locking mechanism?
I don't think it's something that you would see unless you're... Well, if you're looking, are you actively looking for it?
No, just if I happen to see it.
Okay. Yeah, no, you don't see it just at a glance.
Okay. He would have proceeded with the same actions, just a bit stunned in the same process. You know, as Roex described, be like, that's not a woman on a horse. That's a woman horse. You know, that's a centaur. You know, which, being his profession before, he may have dealt with centaurs in the past, but still, his priority right now is to stop the current threat at the moment, considering that she's safe. At least he feels that she's safe at the moment. Ish. I would still take that shot at the guy on the ship that's trying to cut the rope.
Okay, go for it.
All right. Actually, I'm on the wrong page. Hold on. Pew! 11. Too much crap in the way. It lands next to him. Ding.
I was just a little wide. He looks over, though, because it whistles past his head. He looks over at you.
Yeah.
Like, see where it came from.
He then gives inspiration to a rock. And,
okay. Nice. Okay. Very cool. Thank you. And a rock. It is your turn.
Since the guy on the pier is somewhat occupied, Argos moves at a bit. Is that the rear or front of the boat?
That's the front.
That's the front, on the front of the boat, and he's going to aim for the sails, and he's going to use his brave weapon.
Oh, nice.
He's going to set sails on fire.
You did hear from behind you, by the way, as Rorax described, a woman's voice yell, "Let me out!" Oh. But yeah, go. Feel free. Toast away at the boat. So I don't wait for breath. I mean, these sails are not actively trying to evade your attack, so I don't think you really need to make an attack roll to hit them. So
Usually
can you,
for breath weapon, it's just a dex save, so I think it just hits.
right, exactly. So can you do like a damage roll for that? And I'll start to. Okay. All right, but is this fire though, or is this?
In description said, yeah, I can choose one of the 4.
Okay. So this is fire then that you're choosing? Or?
Yeah, fire.
Okay, sweet. Then yeah, you see things start to catch on fire on the boat. Predominantly the ropes and sails. Okay, that's a nice move. Okay. Callisto's just going to be hanging out with this dude up here, even then making sure he's subdued. So then on to Tobias.
Tobias. Okay, those guys are going away.
Yeah, they're kind of running off this
They're
way.
trying.
So I will be able to cast the guiding bolt again on the guy who's the closest to me. Is this guy?
Okay. That hits.
Yay for low armor.
So he takes another guiding bolt to the back, but he does not go down. So he is still standing on his feet.
Damn it.
He's looking. I mean, that's left like a massive kind of scorch mark on his back, and he does kind of cry out in pain, but it does not finish him.
Finish him.
And as my bonus action, I'm going to move closer to the pier.
Okay.
I forgot.
Oops. But you can, so that can be your movement, right? And then you can actually have a bonus action on top of that.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. All right. So then the thugs. These guys are going to continue running. And I'm pretty sure they're going to make it around that corner. Well, hang on, let me measure this guy out, actually. Yeah, he's going to make around. So they disappear around the corner. And at that point, you guys are going to lose sight of them.
This is why I asked for more guards.
Okay. Then these other two thugs down in the water are just kind of trying not to drown. They're actively swimming to try and stay afloat, and with all their gear and stuff. So they're a bit busy at the moment. Valia, can you remind me? Did you this bandit in front of you here? Had you threatened him? I think you threatened him, right?
Oh, I mean, I kind of ripped into his shoulder and neck, so
oh, that's right. Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, you gave him the cloth and told him that you wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he
I would take that as a threat personally, but you know.
He took a
yeah,
nap.
he happily surrenders. This guy on deck is calling out to some of his friends, though. So you do see from kind of below deck some additional bandits are appearing. Boop, boop.
But of course they are.
Of course they are.
They're multiplying.
Rabbit. Damn it.
That's what happens when they run off the map. They reappear underneath below deck.
It's just like Pac-Man.
Spawner down there somewhere.
Daggone it. We just need to light that up.
Bandit spawn. So this guy's gonna kind of leap across here, and take a swipe at you, Valia, which I'm pretty sure he's gonna regret very shortly.
He
Yeah.
missed.
He was kind of shaking when he did it.
Yep. He looked at his friend, who's currently kind of like half, mostly dead, and a giant crater of flesh is missing, and totally missed. And then these guys. Is Iraq? How far up in the air is he?
Let's say 10 feet over the boat.
Okay. So this guy's gonna move up. And he is gonna. Does he have a ranged weapon? Yeah, he does. He is gonna try and shoot at Iraq with his crossbow. So that's the first guy. And then the second guy is actually just gonna start trying to put the fire out. So this guy and this guy are like, holy shit, our ship is on fire, and they're just trying to put the fire out. And they are calling below deck as well. Okay, bandits are done banditing. Valia.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and rage, so that'll give me a little bit extra, because my third attack isn't doing crap anyway, so.
This shit just got real, folks.
Yeah, I'm gonna rage, and we're going to, I'm going to bite that guy.
R.I.P. bandits.
And I'm going to use luck.
Lucky rage.
The best kind of rage. Oh, no.
Oh my god. Well, that's still plus 5,
17.
though, right?
Yeah, 7.
Oh, yeah.
Just add 9 to that, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yep, that hits, definitely. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, he immediately regrets coming over here. You take yeah, what looks like he's. That hits as well. And this guy is dead.
I just look at I'm just like shrug my shoulders. Well, one had to die sometime. And then can I take an action to leap across like that guy did? Hopefully I don't fall in the water.
That's what happens when you rage.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, I mean, you just need to count it as like an extra. Oh yeah, totally, no problem. Go for it.
That guy, and that is my turn because my bonus was to rage.
Okay. Okie doke. Ulfgar.
So I have a question. How high above these guys is a rock?
I think Nervi said he's about 10 feet above them.
Okay. Then what I would like to do is hop down gently to about here. And
Okay.
then ideally do a bit of this action. Trying to basically knock these guys off the boat.
Oh, okay.
But aim lower than a rock is, so I'm not hitting him.
Yeah, I think with that 10-foot gap, you could do that.
Okay, then let me... Boop. Then...
Con saves for everyone.
he does boost, level 1.
Okay, so here we go. Con saves.
Let me roll for the damage here. I know that you just ignore the 2 hits.
Okay, so that first one's the guy at the front. Then this guy fails, and the guy to his right succeeds. So, so this guy gets pushed into the water. But these guys, and wait, he did 11 damage. Okay, that guy. You see his body fly back and then bob limply on the gentle waves.
Whoops.
Whoops. Then these guys take some damage as well.
Not level 1 enough?
Yeah. It's strange. The lower the level I do Thunderwave at, the more damage it does. I don't understand it, but So that was 2 con saves. Was there? Oh, I see the
There was-
third one. Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah, the
I
third
missed
one. He rolled a nat 20.
that. And then, do I have... Because it was 20 feet to get over here, but I don't know if there was like 5-foot movement to get down.
Yeah, a bit little movement kind of. Or you could make like an athletics check to kind of hop in.
No, that's all right. I would have just stayed there.
Or
Do
acrobatics.
that, and then... hold on a second. Spells. How many do I have left of those? So here's a silly thing. Ulfgar wouldn't want these guys to die. Is it possible that he can, like, save some of these that just, like, got hit this turn with a healing word? I don't know if that's possible, but if they were, like, downed, he would like to try and, you know, healing word one of them or something.
You mean the guys with the red X's?
Yeah.
Yeah. NPCs, once they're dead, they're dead.
Okay.
So unless you, like, full on bring back to life,
Right.
there's no, like, they don't get death saves or any of that.
Okay. Then in that case,
Sorry.
I'll do a healing word of level 2 on myself, and I'm gonna try. I think I got it this time. Let's try it. It didn't ask me. Oh, that's right. Level 2, submit. There we go. So I got a total of 9 health back.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. And that's it.
Okay, doke. Right, the rock.
Well, does Arcan distinguish which one is captain or leader?
I would say that actually he hasn't seen anybody that looks particularly leadery yet.
Yeah.
Or so, can he distinguish who might behave that way?
I think he could. But yeah, the ones that you've seen so far just seem like they're following orders rather than giving them. Does that answer your question? Sorry.
Perhaps.
Their leader's below decks, and he's just going, "Go kill them! Go kill them!" I'll stay here.
My ship's on fire, but I'll stay here.
Yeah. He's the captain.
Captain always goes down with his ship. Even when it's just burning in the harbor.
Yeah, I jumped on there forgetting that I was on fire, so you know, hey.
It's just the sails right now. It's fine.
So,
Yeah, I can draw some orange squiggly lines at that.
okay, in that way he's going to dive in and try to use claw on this guy, and claw with a grab to grapple him.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, claw.
That hits.
3 points of damage, and now he's grappled.
Right. Yeah, he's not putting up much of a fight either way. The claws were kind of on top of all the other wounds that he's had. Really, you see like life is draining from him. So he's not feeling too good.
This is where a rock flies really high up and just lets go. Let it go. Let it go.
This guy is,
Seismic toss.
not much fight. There's no fight in him at the moment.
Good.
Okay. But Callisto still has this bandit up here. So but you know what? She's securing him now.
Like bare butt sitting on this poor guy's chest. Like,
Let's see, do we have a thing that means that they're tied up? I think she's gonna spend a little time securing this dude. Okay, let's use that. Sure, that means that he's subdued now. And then she's gonna come stand next to you, Tobias. Okay. And it happens to be your turn. So there's a big black bear standing next to you. So I think you've seen Callisto turn into a bear quite a few times now, so probably pretty confident that it's her.
He's like, God, I hope this is Callisto.
Not just some black bear loose in the city.
Actually,
on a rampage.
I'm not intimidated. I've seen her transforming into a bear.
Okay.
Well, moments before you were right next to her as well. So
That's true.
So
Yeah.
that's true.
You did walk past a city on the bandit eating a sandwich.
Okay, what to do? Pretty sure the dock will be secured at this point, so I'm going to run up to the cage.
Okay.
I'm trying to count how many times I'm able to use spells because I wasted two of them on the guys that just ran away. I think on level 5 I will be able to use 3 spells per day. But unfortunately I don't have any spells to free or centaur.
Was there a lock or anything on it? Did you look close? I didn't. I ran right past it going, oh, Fugara will take care of her.
There's no time to do those things. We have to secure the pier. Okay, those guys will not be moving anywhere. So at least will be my last guiding bolt on this guy on the ship.
Oh boy. Okay.
Another one bites the dust.
Seriously.
Okay, be careful what you are wishing for.
Oh.
I miss. Yeah, that's what I said. I tend to miss or just obliterate everything.
It does set this. Well, guiding bolt does damage the sail a bit further behind him, though. so this boat doesn't look like it's going anywhere in a hurry. Okay, do we have any thugs left that are actually doing anything? I think these two are going to try and at least beach themselves a little bit on the side here so they're not drowning. That's pretty much it. And so, yeah, hang on one sec. This guy. Yeah, the bandits that are left are actually surrendering. But as they are doing that, from below deck come this guy and this guy. Except he's not right there. He's gonna. Sorry, unfortunate placement. So they would come out from below deck as well.
Oh.
So you see these two folks emerge. One of them does have a slightly more swanky tie around his noggin.
It's one of the Double Dragon brothers.
Yeah. But they look and see their fellow kind of comrades, crew, surrendering, and
Not mentioning the bear that is standing next to the shore.
It's just a bear sitting at the top of the stairs.
This guy here decides that he's going to try and make a swim for it, and you see him hop overboard and start kind of swimming away. So we can probably, maybe there. This guy here calls out, "Who the hell are you?"
Was he talking to?
He's just yelling in general.
He's yelling kind of in your direction. I mean, he's like, he's obviously not talking to his crew, right?
He could be shaking his fist at a cloud, you know.
Probably like sees me all bloody and stuff, like hanging out on the deck. Hey.
I mean, he sees the three of you, right? He sees Valia, Erok, and Ulfgar. Yeah, that's what he shouts.
Okay.
So Valia, would you like to reply to
Yeah.
fellow who's just emerged?
Yeah, I tell him, well, the dwarf has all the information. We have we were told to come subdue you guys. Like I said, the dwarf's got all the information. So you can either come with us now, willingly, or I can come get you. And I'll move at least one forward. Actually, you know what? I'll get right up on him, and I will see if I can grapple him. Even though I told him he has a choice, I'd like
You're like, never mind.
a straight check.
Mm-hmm. Okay, he's gonna make, what's he got that's better? His dex is better, so he's gonna, and he fails. Okay, so yeah, he seems in shock and a little bit like there's not much point in me fighting because I'm 1 against 3 at least. So this is yeah, he does not succeed in resisting your grapple, so you grappled this dude.
Yeah, I'll just pin his arms behind his back and say, all right, buddy, let's go, and walk him, start walking him over to the edge of the ship.
Yep, he will come along, and I'm sure you guys end up on the pier. And I think at this point, we're really actually, so the one guy that's forgotten about that fell over up on here, he is gonna run away. He's been told to run away many times now, and he is gonna do this thing.
Finally.
Yeah.
He's done doing the Kermit thing, running back and forth.
I don't have ranged attacks, so I would have shot for the guy in the water. So, and I already lost my javelin throwing it at the other guy.
Ulfgar would ask Arok if he'd be so kind as to fish out the guy that just jumped in the water. And then proceed back to the crate, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, and the captain keeps looking over at his ship that's on fire. He's very kind of like, he probably even asked, I'm checking out why he's got Valia's got him kind of pinned with his arms behind his back, and probably says to Ulfgar, that's my livelihood. He's kind of like really distraught that his ship is about to go up in flames.
Alright. Can I tell Ulfgar, can you hold on to him? And I tell the captain, if you try to get away, I will kill you. I'll just rip your throat out.
Just let his crewmates put out the fire. There's still 2 on the ship.
And I look at him, I'm like, treasure.
Exactly. Have them put out the fire. And we'll inspect for other captives down below.
I'll go ahead and ask the captain too. Is there anything else alive down there other than your worthless crewmates?
He's he's subdued at this point, and although he's begrudgingly cooperative. He says, "See for yourself." He says, "There's a few bits and bobs."
You hear off in the background the centaur shaking the bars of her cage, saying, "Let me out!" She's very frustrated everyone's run her off.
Ulfgar comes over and says, "1 moment, ma'am," and casts knock.
Oh, okay, that does it, yeah.
And then says, "If you would be so kind as to step aside, I think we've got a better use for this cage than for containing the likes of you."
She pushes you out of the way as you're saying this because she's so desperate to get out.
Fair enough.
I'll walk the captain up to her and be like, before we stuff him in there and take him to where he needs to go, do you want to, punch, I just kind of hold my fist up to his face, a couple times.
Just get him in the cage. I don't care how you do it.
I already like you, Ellie says. And she actually, turns around and hoof kicks the captain.
No. Oh, that's got a sting. Oh.
Can
I roll for that, actually?
No, I mean, he's restrained, right? So he's not going.
I just mean roll for the damage.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen that in real life. That's nothing to... Oh. Ooh. That's a good thing.
Yeah, he takes... And he doubles over as much as he can with Valia holding his arms, and...
I just laugh. It can't be that bad, and just kind of push him into the crate.
Okay, so Captain is in the crate. There are two guys on deck frantically putting fire out. And yeah, I'm going to get rid of the turn order now because we are definitely kind of out of combat.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'll kind of scatter around and try to grab whoever's still alive and shove them in the crate with the captain. I'm putting them all in the crate. Whoever I can grab.
Okay. So you end up with, it's very tight in there. You've got the captain, you've got the two thugs that are in the water, and 3 bandits on deck. Is Arok going to try and lift this guy? Is he going to try and snag him? This one that's in the water down here?
Of course, after he will drop this one on the deck.
Okay. Are you dropping him from a height, or are you...
It's around... Well, let's say it's 5 feet.
Okay.
So it's not big of a deal.
Okay.
Kicking him at the same time.
They have to do a bite, claw, or any form of raw.
Yeah, if you're going to try and lift him, then if you're lifting him with the claws, then do like a claw attack or a bite attack. If you're just going to kind of grab him in your jaws and lift him up.
I think I'll just go, well, let's go with a claw.
Okay. Yeah, you grab him. Okay.
Yoink.
He doesn't have very... a good way to escape this. So basically, you guys can round up the captain, the 2 thugs, and 4 bandits. Oh, 5 bandits. Excuse me, I forgot about the one that killed us.
Yeah, that guy there. He got sat on early in the battle.
So yeah, I've got a couple of dead bandits, a couple that got away, and a couple of thugs that got away as well.
Can we send Callisto to the Fritz guy who wanted these to let him know that we had them?
Oh no, we could just use these horses and carriages to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to lift that crate?
Well, we've got...
I forget we have...
We've got a bear.
So,
well, I'm going to make my way back onto the ship and go rummage through the ship.
Well, we could put the...
While all this is going on, Ayla's been slowly walking onto the ship because she wants to get to a particular crate.
It would be a priority that we check the ship for any live animals or people or anything like that might still be on there.
Yeah. Well, while you guys have been rounding up your prisoners, Ayla, you could definitely find the crate that you're looking for, and retrieve your gear. And then Valia, you kind of head there as well and start having a look around the boat.
Yep.
Okay. So down in the hold area of the boat, there's not a lot left. You get the feeling like the crate that Elia was in was taking up the majority of the room. But you do find there's some caged exotic birds. There's an albino weasel. You know, there's a couple of small animals like that, and it's very and the conditions there are pretty bad, right? It's just kind of keep them alive as long as you could, you know, to keep them alive long enough to get them to shore. So the small animals look malnourished. The birds are very distraught and also look pretty malnourished as well.
I mean, my love of all furry creatures, apparently. I'm just like taking bits of fish and like, here, trying to feed whoever will take it, like dried fish.
I'm sure Callista would probably help you as well.
Yeah, so I mean, eventually as well, Callisto transforms back to her normal self, and she casts. I think she has speak with animals, doesn't she?
Yeah.
So she casts speak with animals.
Yeah, we both have it. I mean, I have it as a bonus thing. But...
Cool. So between the two of you, you can talk to them and calm them enough. What are you going to do with them? They're kind of in these little cages down in the hold of this boat.
I will start unloading them and tell them, you know, be calm, we're taking you somewhere safe, you know, and try to calm them down and start taking them above deck and stacking them where they can get some fresh air. I don't want to take them out in case they fly away or get away and they're injured and they need help, so.
Okay. Yeah. Yep, so you can have a little stack of guys. The cages on the pier, no problem there.
Okay.
And then I'll check the captain's quarters.
Okay, sure. So in the captain's quarters, you do find a desk. Hang on 1 second, let me find the table that I am looking for. And you can rummage through that desk and find some loots.
Yeah, I'll probably rummage through everything in here.
And you know Callisto would as well.
Yeah. She's all about the treasure.
Yep.
She's like, treasure!
Yeah. Yep. I forgot there's some handy dandy Mac.
Meanwhile, Ulfgar and Arak and Tobias, I'm assuming the three of us are like arranging getting the dudes in a cage on one of the carts, and then trying to get the animal crates loaded up in the other horse and cart, so that we can basically transport a bunch of prisoners back and take the exotic animal cargo back with us as well.
Correct.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Ayla's just on the end of the pier trying to put her life back together as best she can and figure out where she is.
Oh yeah, Ulfgar would want to know if she would be injured. You know, if she looked injured. Obviously, she didn't look in the best of shape, but.
So you don't. Well, make a medicine check. Actually.
Okay. 14.
Okay. There aren't any like individual injuries that look like they need healing per se. But overall, you can see, you know, there's some like sore spots and kind of muscle atrophy or degradation where it's obvious that Ella's been in this crate that was too small for her for too long. Probably a little malnourishment as well.
I'd offer her some food and some water. if she'd let me, I'd press the digitation, some of the, the dirt and junk off of her to help clean her. But I'm not sure how
she
open
definitely
you
doesn't let you get close enough to touch her, but she certainly would take you up on your offer of food and drink.
Okay. Yeah, he'd set that down in front of you and back off so that you could take what you want from it.
She'll kneel down and pick it up.
He'd introduce
and
himself.
Start happily munching on it.
While you're munching, he'd introduce himself. Sorry.
She kind of just sidelines. She seems spaced out, like she's not even really paying attention to what's going on, and she just kind of says Ayla and goes back to staring off into the around the dock.
Gotcha. And he'd say, "I'm Ulfgar of the Emerald Enclave. My friends and I came to stop an animal smuggling ring, and sorry to say we found you in this mess. I'd be happy to offer my services to help you out, find your way in any way I can."
Where am I?
You're on the continent of Chult, or on the island of Chult, in the city known as Port Nianzaru.
Ayla comes from a pretty, like, tribal, not totally, like, out of touch, but definitely tribal herd of centaur, and she has no idea what Chult is. And she's like, is that... I need to get back to my planes, my people.
We can see if we can have that arranged for you. I've got some friends that may be able to help with this. We were brought here from another continent to help out with some of the menace in the area. But this was a little side duty we were asked to perform while we were here. So if you'll come with us, I would be glad to help see if we can arrange for your passage back home. As you can see, my friends here, and he points each of them out, saying their names, as he does so, come from a bit more friendly and forested land than this in the past, but we've each got our own talents that have helped us to get as far as we have.
She ignores all of this.
Yeah. Anyway, he just lets you eat your food at this point. Continues on with, stacking things. He might have asked, where are you from? And are you familiar with this tribe? I know this tribe. He's very, very chatty. Like, a little bit annoyingly so, but still in a very friendly manner. Sort of like you can't get Santa Claus to stop talking, I
suppose the way she's receiving it is that she realizes there's this little half-human trying desperately to be a friend, but she is really sad right now. and she just doesn't want a bar of it. And she's just rifling through her stuff.
Fair enough.
Okay. So, in going back to while you're rifling through the desk, you find 3 stoppered vials of an unknown liquid. You also, kind of leaning against the desk, you find a quiver of silvered arrows. 1 second. Quiver of 4 silvered arrows. You find also a crude map, kind of B chart, kind of as you might expect, but it's kind of looks like not particularly well drawn. You also find a spyglass.
Nice.
and 73 gold pieces.
Okay. Alrighty. I guess we'll just rifle through the rest of the room. We can deal with that later if we need to. And then I'll come up on deck and see Ayla. I'm like, I just kind of look at her. I'm like, what? Can I ask what are you?
She turns to you and says, "What are you?"
I'm like, well, I look down. I'm like, I'm obviously a lizard folk, but don't particularly recall seeing anything, quite like you. Just like looking around at your hoofs, like kind of.
She's starting to kind of come around and realize that these people are genuinely trying to get on her good side, whoever they are. And she turns to you and she says, "I'm Centaur." And then she says it again in Sylvan.
I'm like, okay. I just kind of look at you after you say it in a second. I'm like, whatever you said there, but okay. Well, I'm Valia, and I kind of wipe my mouth a little bit. I forget I have a little stuff on my mouth. I was like, well, glad we got you out of that cage. That didn't look very fun, and those rude men that put you in there are now in there. So hopefully that makes you happy. I'm just like thinking in my head, is she a pet? I mean, like, can I keep her? Like, feed her cheap fish?
Oh, God.
I'm not saying it out loud. I'm just kind of like,
She turns her head towards Ulfgar and yells, "Half man," but not in common, in Sylvan, which, if you have spent any time around centaurs, you would know is their word for dwarf. And she says, "Where are you going?"
You'd see Ulfgar actually kind of motion briefly, cast a small incantation, and then he'd say again, "Could you say that again, please?"
She says half man again in Sylvan.
He'd correct you and say dwarf in common. He casts comprehend languages is what he was doing at that point.
Dwarf. Where are you going?
We are bound to find, well, it's kind of a long answer, really. Ultimately, we're going into the jungle to rid this land of an undead menace. That's the short of it. I could go into more detail if you care to listen.
please don't. I'm like yelling in the background, please don't.
In the future. I don't think that would be good for
Her
now.
pointed ears perk up when you say undead. And she says, you deal with undeath.
No, not deal with them. More or less, we're looking to prevent them from happening and from stopping normal... he thinks of a best way to say this. Death of those that have been resurrected normally? And he kind of has this question on his face. Forgive me, I'm trying to keep it simple. It doesn't translate well.
We're saving the undead that are already brought back, but not the ones that are undead that are mean at eating things. I just kind of shrug my shoulders and walk off.
And Ulfgar kind of goes...
She interrupts you through all this, and she said, "Yes, I get it."
All right.
The risen, she says like several words for undeath. She says, I'm familiar with undeath. My role is to bury those so they don't come back.
Ulfgar would
I
say,
just look at Ulfgar like, what are y'all talking about? Like, what is she saying? Because it's weird.
she keeps.
Oh, sorry. She's been saying all this in common. She was only saying half man in Sylvan.
Okay, just making sure.
What was the name of the group at what was it at Camp Vengeance? Was it the group of the Fist? I can't remember. Sorry, I don't have my notebook with me. But
Anybody else remember?
if you know who I'm talking about, he would ask, are you familiar with this group? Are you of them? And he would say that.
Order of the Gauntlet.
Yeah, are you of the Order of the Gauntlet?
She shakes her head. She has no idea who that is. She says, but if they have to do with bringing people back, she needs to be involved.
No, they swore to destroy the undead menace, but their methods are not the best. I just wanted to know if you were affiliated with them.
She, again, shakes her head no.
Right. That's
So
good to
I
hear.
turn around. I'm like, So how did these guys get a hold of you, by the way?
That's probably a story for another time. I don't want to recount it now.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. I guess we should be off before these guys figure out a way to get out of this crate if they can, or I mean, I promised we weren't going to kill anybody, but well, let's just go.
Meanwhile, Tobias and Arak are probably like squishing the last guy in the crate, like ka-chink. They're both like pushing against the door. Get in there.
Ayla is pleased by their cramped condition.
I just I get another. I find a stick randomly on the ship, and I'm like poking them through the cave, like, hey.
So basically, at this point, I think Ulfgar would ask, what is it? Just to make things a bit simpler on the DM, and I think it would also make sense role-playing wise. He would ask if Callisto would stay with the boat for now until some guards came to take over from the prince. Because we're gonna go deliver these guys to the prince, basically, because that was the idea. He wanted the boat as well, if I understood. That if she could stay there for now until we sent for her, or came by to pick her up first thing in the morning if she was, that's a bit late. No. We'll be back to get her shortly. How's that?
Callisto says, "Oh no, I'm not." She's like not into that at all. Sticking around being boat guard. No.
All right. Well, I suppose it's not going anywhere, but there were some that escaped, and they might come back and steal the boat, which we're trying to deliver.
I kind of point at the fire, at the singed parts of the boat. I'm like, it's not going anywhere.
Right. Okay. Good point.
I said, I want to hurry. We need to get these animals back so they can get taken care of. They're very sick. They're dehydrated. They need food.
Okay.
I tried to feed them my fish, but some of them won't take it. I
Um,
look at Ayla, I'm like, do you want to come with us? And maybe we can, I'm sure the prince would want to at least see you and speak to you.
Why?
He sent us to find these animals. I'm not sure if you were part of that or not, but he needs to at least know what these guys were into and who they work for, see if he can figure out who they work for. So maybe they don't come across any of your people again. I mean,
I remember from my stay that they definitely intended to sell me as one of their exotic creatures.
yes, no doubt.
but
The prince that we're going to see, this is what he deals with, is people bringing in illegal exotic creatures and selling them. From what we've seen, he brings them in, he houses them, heals them, feeds them, trains them, whatever he needs to do, and keeps them safe. So, but we do need to get these other creatures back. They're very sick.
Wolfgar would say, hold up a second. We've had our misgivings with this prince.
Ayla says, funny you should mention that. Please give me a moment. And Kashka, I'd like to try casting Augury.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I posted that twice. So hang on, I'm not quite sure on the deal with this. I guess it just is a success because we're not in combat.
Right. I agree.
Are you casting some bones?
And yeah, she is literally casting some bones onto the deck or onto the pier.
Ulfgar suddenly starts taking steps back very quickly and says, "Do you know Nanny Poo Poo?"
I just start laughing.
She looks really offended / confused and says no.
He says, "Right, okay," and he just keeps on backing up a little bit and says, "Go on then." He just looks a little bit leery about whatever it is that you're doing at the moment.
So she's cast the bones to the pier, and she stares into them. What does she see?
She sees woe. I guess, wait, hang on one second. So,
They want to go to the prince.
yeah, they want to go to the prince. So in regards to them going to the prince, she sees woe.
She turns to the others and she says, do not go to him.
Ulfgar would like to make an insight check to see if she's wearing some kind of guise or illusion and perhaps is a hag in disguise. Because a hag could possibly be an animal attraction for all I know as well.
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, it's just something, she was casting bones.
No, I mean, I think this is something Ulfgar would do. Yeah, as much as I'm rolling my eyes.
7.
You're not sure?
Okay. So yeah, that's just the squinty eyes going on there.
Yeah.
She says, do not go. I'm sorry, I don't know what you'll find, but I know what we find will not be good.
Then perhaps a change of plan. I feel the best course of action here is to split the party. Again.
Well, I look at you guys, I'm like, well, either way, these animals, he may not even know you were on this boat, but he does know there were other animals on this boat. So what we can do is you can stay at the inn where we stay, and we can go to this prince with these small animals, but they do need help. When you see me over there in the cages, I'm like talking to them and like trying to, calm them down.
And this is pretty much what I was thinking. Some might actually just stay and leave in the morning with horse and carriage as we had planned to meet up with the rest of our friends outside of the city. And
I can't stay near this boat.
Right. You don't have to stay here. We can get some quarters nearby, I'm sure. And then the rest of us deliver the smugglers and their goods to our to the local prince.
Kashka, would we have seen any centaurs in this area?
You haven't seen any in Chult, no.
Okay, that's what I wanted. I look at Ulfgar, I'm like, okay, thinking about this now, we may need to send her with Arak, and he may need to fly her out, because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've not seen anything like her here. And if they were going to sell her as an exotic pet, there's a chance that somebody might actually try to harm her or kidnap her in the city. If they think if they've never seen anything like this, there's a chance they might think she is a pet, and we don't want her back in danger again. If anything, we can have, she might be able to climb on his back if that's okay with her. I'm kind of looking at her a little confused, like how trying to figure out how she would get on his back.
She's also confused.
Yeah, they're both the same size, so.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe he can try to escort her out to where Artie and Dragonbeak are with the other guy, or she's safe out of the city, and she's also not near this horrible boat.
Why don't all of you take a bit more of a quiet route out of the city, and Callisto and I will deliver the rest of these to the prince?
I hold up a finger, one word, Flippy.
We can bring him back.
I just shake my head. It's like, he won't go with you unless I'm there.
All right, then. You can come along too, and Callisto can go with Tobias and Arak and ensure safe passage for our friend here, and we all meet up at the rendezvous. What do you think, Tobias? Arak?
Yeah, I agree.
I guess I'm asking Callisto as well if she wants to go with them.
Yeah, she would agree to that. She's not boat sitting, but she will go with them.
Okay.
I'm going to try augury again, if that's all right.
Yeah.
It only has a 25% chance of success now, though.
Yep.
I'm just standing behind the wagon. I'm like, I don't know about y'all, but that's weird. I just pick up
Watching
some rocks
a horsewoman
and I throw them on
roll
the floor.
bones.
Yeah, I'm like, does that work? I just like throw some rocks on the floor, and I'm like, it didn't say anything to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see.
Okay, who's going to stay with those vigilantes?
That would be myself and Valia.
They were that we were loading them up on a cart.
Random. Okay.
Okay, so if I'm going to move our equine friend out of the city, so who is going to notify the prince about our actions?
That's the thing, is that Valia and I would be driving these two carts to the prince. And the rest of you would try to exit the city as safely as you can. Perhaps even through some shallow waters might be best, but it's up to you how you think would be best to proceed.
So you're casting returns wheel.
She says to you, gosh, I've already forgotten your name. Ulfgar.
Yeah.
Says to you, Ulfgar, that says it's a good result, this new plan, but be aware that the spirits can be very frustrated with being asked too many times.
Right. And he takes another step back. Just don't go shape-shifting on me, alright? And... Oh, kitty. and okay. And you just see, every time that you do this, it just makes him very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
He seems tolerant of it, just really uncomfortable.
Excellent. Ulfgar, uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable Ulfgar.
Okay, so your final decision is for Callisto, Tobias, and Arak and Ilya to go directly to meet up with the NPCs, and for Valia and Ulfgar to go talk to the prince, right?
That's how I see it, yes.
Okay. Callisto does say, I need to go get the cart in the morning, and the crate, the giant crate that we've, had that we purchased.
Yeah, we kind of need that.
Well, that's what we are going to take over because she had said that her friends could take it as well, and that they would be stopping by, so we were going to do that.
So you guys are going to do that. Okay. All right,
and hey, we've got a crate, we've got a horse and carts. I'm sure we could convince the prince to let us have... No, I'm just a horse and cart maybe, but knock a few gold off of our price with the lady. Or something. Okay. So
the party that's going out to meet up with Artis and Dragonbait and Vorn, are you heading out right away, or are you taking some rest first?
It's not my decision.
Aelia looks totally ragged and desperately wants to rest.
Y'all should probably take a short rest, Tobias. Aren't you out of spell slots?
I would like to move as quickly as we can.
I'm going to move you guys back to the city now, just so we can talk about this, from that perspective instead.
I squad, they're deciding we're going to go ahead and load up and get this stuff going.
Yeah, we are actually close to city border. So actually we can leave Port Nyanzaru, rendezvous with Artus and Dragonbait. And take a rest after this.
Well, it'll take you an entire day to get there.
Entire day to leave the city area?
Mm-hmm. Well, to get all the way to the NPCs, but otherwise, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, leave the city, rest, then rendezvous with Artus and Dragonbait. In that order.
You could kind of do a little bit of wild camping, just outside of the city, to break up the journey. So you don't have to go into the city proper in order to get a rest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay. So then, Ulfgar and Valia, after a serious amount of effort, you're able to get this crate, and Callisto would probably need to transform to something very strong as well, in order to get this crate of bandits and thugs onto a cart.
If I can.
Is that kind of your plan?
Actually, I had mentioned earlier, I think it was kind of in between comments that we would have done that before putting any of them in the crate.
Okay. Then yeah, you've just got this poor pair of horses who are desperately struggling to pull this thing. So yeah, you've got fairly heavy crate in the back of this cart.
And I'm experienced and proficient with traveling with horse-drawn carriages.
Okay, all right. So you're able to drive the cart through these back alleys of this kind of shady harbor area to the city gate.
Tarp over top of the crate.
Okay. So there are some guards stationed up on top of the gates who are kind of looking at you a bit strangely as you're approaching. Are you going to offer any information, or
Like the seal, just show them the seal.
Well, if they ask us questions or stop us or anything, then obviously the seal is the first thing that's out. It might already be in my hand or very close to it, just so that I can quick and easily, so they don't think I'm like drawing weapons on them or something silly. And explain that we're off to see the prince. These were, you know, smuggler fugitives that have been captured. We're turning him in.
okay. Yeah, and they hear like some you know, human noises from inside the crates, and kind of like, get your elbow out of my ribs, and you know, general grumbling about being in the crates and being captured and whatnot. So that, yeah, the guards, as soon as it looks like he was about to say something, and then you show him the seal, and he's like, you know, just waves you through. So yes, your explanation completely satisfies their curiosity. They're not going to interfere with the prince's business.
Just because I can along the trip, I'll constantly keep prestidigitationing really noxious smells around them, just so that I can give them that extra little tiny bit of payback. Oh, prestidigitation
would be proud.
fights. That's right.
And it's not like they're particularly cleanly, you know, sailors anyway. So, but yeah, they make some grumbles about, this one looks like he's gonna puke, you know, kind of thing. Stop doing that! I don't want him to throw up on me.
Perfect.
So you're taking this to the prince's house? Is that your plan?
Well, to the general vicinity, and then I'm sure he wouldn't want them brought up to his house, and then asking the next guard station nearby, you know, where we should be taking the prisoners, if we need to talk to the prince first. I'm sure he wouldn't want them on the premises.
Mm-hmm.
Something that we should have asked beforehand, but did not. My bad.
So yeah, you can pull the cart up and you ask the guards about this, and the guard looks like, what the hell are you doing here with this? And then says, asks you to kind of pull the cart out of sight a little bit. So, and then just his colleague disappears inside, and then the kind of the valet to the prince comes out and talks to you and says, you weren't supposed to bring them here, man.
I wouldn't have brought them into like the rich district. I mean, I'd have stopped at the gates there if possible. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. No worries. He says, whose cart is this anyway?
Theirs.
Oh, he says, oh, okay. And he says, well, we'll take them from here, you know. And he still looks a bit like we need to get them out of here as soon as possible, kind of thing. So he, if you hand the cart over to him, then he'll give direction to one of the prince's guards to drive it, and you know, gives them direction on where to go. So you see this cart of thugs and bandits rumble away from you down the street. Bandit captain giving you the finger, and yeah, and then the valet ushers you, you know, to the prince's residence, and you know, invites you to come into the reception room where the prince met you previously.
What happened with all the other animals? The animals.
Yeah, we were both together. 2 carts.
Oh, okay. So the cart with the animals, they'll ask you actually to continue driving that forward to the prince's residence. And there's kind of an outbuilding, you know, it's very kind of grandiose outbuilding that's kind of off to the side and back of the property. And the valet is also summoned, some help from there, and you see some kind of some animal handlers, come forward, and they're checking out, what's in the cage, and one of them's like, "Oh, I've never seen like one of these," and they seem a little bit like surprised at what's inside the cages. Some of them are like, "Oh, okay, well, this one's kind of rare," but and so they're kind of chattering about the breeds, and they, say that they will take them back to the area where they're keeping kind of the prince's menagerie, and promise you that they will be cared for there.
Right.
If you're willing to let them go.
Well, considering that they've got our pet, and we have yet to be rewarded, yes.
Okay.
Provided they also provide instructions on how we are to collect our friend and monies at this point.
Yeah, and the valet's kind of standing there as the animal cages are being unloaded, and you observe the animals being taken back to this care. It's like a kind of a stable, area, and so you observe that all going on, and the valet is waiting patiently, and then once they've all been taken off the cart and transported, then he ushers you. Into the reception room. So he does say, and this is very early in the morning at this point. So he says, it might be a short wait while he wakes the prince.
Right. Oops.
So while you guys are waiting there, let's go back to the other group.
Yep.
So Callisto, is following along with you at this point. So it's up to you, Tobias and Elia, kind of to make your way out of the city.
Yeah. Because I don't know the place, I asked Tobias if he knows anywhere we can hunker down.
Actually, we have a couple of our friends waiting for us in the jungle. They are one day away from if we did... Yeah, go on.
She interjects and says a day that we should rest sooner than that. Maybe we can find a clearing? You said a jungle.
Yeah, that was my first assumption, that we go first outside the city border into the jungle and take a short rest. Then we were going to head to Arthas and Dragonbait.
Great. So I guess we would then continue out of the city. I guess she would be following Tobias as far as he knows, and keeping her eyes out for any sort of clearings outside the city borders to rest.
Yeah, so you
Correct.
can... sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
Okay. So you can, make your way back to this kind of main road down here. And Elia, as you're kind of traveling along, you see that these this area here is there's dinosaurs. You see a variety of dinosaurs, from small little kind of raptory looking guys to bigger stegosauruses and larger dinosaurs like that, and it's just barely the first signs of dawn as you're making your way along this road. So you see actually what look like very sleepy dinosaurs, right? They're just kind of they're just waking up, just making their way kind of out of their like shelters that they've got in these pens, and kind of nosing some of the ones that are slightly earlier risers are kind of starting to nose around and feed buckets and find little scraps that are left from what they were fed yesterday, and they're generally snuffling around in there. So this is kind of what
She's in total awe. She's never seen anything like them.
So you can make your way past, you see like a variety of kind of buildings, and just to describe to you as well what the buildings look like. They're mostly like kind of whitewashed, like clay with clay. What's the word I'm looking for? It's
Adobe.
Oh man, clay rendered buildings. So, and it's whitewashed, and the lower half of them is anyway, and then any that are more than one story have like wood structures on top. You can tell that they were built to protect their residents from the heat as much as they could. Keep their residents cool. They're designed for kind of capturing cooler temps, but it's very vibrant buildings, because even the whitewashed walls of the lower half of the building have murals of flowers and fauna and birds painted on the side of them, and there's kind of fauna everywhere as well. People have it seems to grow very readily in this climate. There's flowers all over people's houses, flowering vines growing up the houses. All in all, it's very beautiful and colourful, even in like this area where there are kind of dinosaur training going on. So that's what you pass as you make your way out of the city, and you follow that main road. Actually, I think that's to the south, isn't it? Yep, south. So you follow that main road south, and Callisto suggests a spot that isn't, that's a little bit outside of the city, but not too far into the jungle. Just for safety's sake, so that you can rest uninterrupted. Yeah. So you may stay if you so wish.
Excellent.
Undetected.
Well, it was the wee hours of the morning, so it's the best time to have left.
Yeah, we don't mention that Ruckus in the harbor, a ship on fire.
Multiple thunder waves, knock spells, lots of loud. It's just thunder from the storm.
I'm sure in the early hours that we were doing that, people were poking their heads out, but they were seeing just silhouettes.
Yeah, it's you do notice. Well, it's difficult to say without any perspective, but Tobias, you know that this is kind of a shadier part of town, so it's not, people might poke their heads out, but it's more out of self-preservation than it is like to make any action to stop, what's going on.
They're not attacking me. I don't care. Okay.
Yeah. When there's activity in this, it's almost like a little smugglers harbor down here. So when there's activity going on in there, if it's not something that's going to interrupt your life, you stay out of it if you know what's good for you. So.
Splendid.
So, Tobias, should we stay here until we see sign of Ulfgar and the lizard?
The lizard.
She's already forgotten her name.
We can do that. But
all right,
it's better we just don't wait too long.
Do you think we should wait a few hours? Maybe a day?
I think half a day, 12 hours should be enough.
And then we move on. Okay.
So Callisto says, well, if we're going to stay here that long, she says, we may as well take a long rest and, you know, regain some of our strength.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay, so then you guys settle in for a good long rest, and let's switch back to the other group.
Here's a funny thing: is that the group that we just left from, Callisto said that she could turn into a horse. One of you is half horse, and the other one specializes in riding a mount. So feasibly, you guys could go at a horse's speed.
It's true. You could.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Actually, I have a mount.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you
So
can
I'm
fly,
not-
so.
Yeah, I can fly. I can just go later.
Sorry, go ahead, Kashka.
That's all right. Okay, so back to Team Prince, and the very sleepy-looking Prince Ifan. You know, he's just kind of tying his. He's got this very kind of a heavily embroidered silk, robe, and he's tying that. He's got a belt that he's tying as he's walking into the room. He's got a kind of this sleeping hat on as well. It looks fairly ridiculous, all in all. And so he kind of walks into the room, and then he sees you, and he wakes up a little bit more, and says, "So, do tell, how did it go?"
Do the little bow. Say, we were able to capture a large majority of the smugglers. A few escaped, and sadly, 2 of them put my crew at risk and were put down. But we were able to get all of the goods and salvage the boat, though it did suffer a bit of fire damage in the process. The boat is still moored at the docks. We've delivered the smugglers as well as 2 carts of horses, or 2 carts and horses, with one of them having some of the exotic animals that were smuggled in.
When you say that you had to put some of them down, he gets a little, and then he says, "What did you do with the bodies?"
I guess I probably wouldn't have left them there. Probably would have tossed them in the back of the cart, under the tarp, you know. In hindsight, I mean, I wouldn't have just left bodies.
You were going to do that.
You're right. So I guess, well, there's one bobbing around in the harbor, and the other one's bobbing around in the harbor. so that they're somewhere in the harbor. They drifted off before we could get them.
You see him, as you're saying this, he turns and walks towards the next to the door that he entered from, and pulls this bell pull, and you hear, in the distance, ding, 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 ding. And shortly after, kind of a man in servant's garb kind of walks in and does a bow to the prince. And the prince mutters to him, "There's some cleanup needed in the harbour." And he's kind of muttering, seems to say something. And the man nods, and off he goes. And then the prince returns his attention to you, and says, "And you said you have some of the exotic animals?"
No, we returned all of the exotic animals that were on the what do you call it? The cart.
Make a deception check.
Make a deception check. Well, he's telling the absolute truth because he doesn't consider centaur an animal. He considers them a people.
I just tell him we went to the back where we were told to go, and your people took them, and they're taking care of them. They're very sickly and malnourished and needed water, and they weren't in good shape at all.
And I do apologize for coming to you at this early hour, but as you know, we are on our own time frame, and we came to collect our friend and our reward and be on our way. If it suits you.
He says, allow me to summon my gamekeeper. And he pulls the bell rope again, and waits, does this thing where the servant comes in. He says, "Go get this guy," and that guy comes in. So so you see the same kind of chief or head gamekeeper guy, animal trainer, who you gave Flippy to.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that kind of comes back, and he enters the room, and you see Effin says to him, our trusty allies have returned, he says, and it seems they had great success. Could you bring back their companion? And then he takes a step closer to him and whispers something to him as well.
Okay.
And then this guy that's dressed all in leathers and whatnot hears off out the door, and he says, "Do have a seat. Take some refreshments," and gestures to a small table that appears to have some beverages, little cups, and there's like a ornate pot as well, and the steam kind of billowing forth from the spout of the pot, and this is what he's gesturing you to partake in, if you so wish.
I just stand. I'm just like, I'm good. I'm just waiting for Flippy. Can I insight check him? Like face his reaction to whatever the guy's telling him.
Was it tea or something like that?
You're not sure what's in the pot.
Does anybody else take any?
He hasn't yet, and there's really just the three of you, and probably a servant in the room, and that's about it.
Okay. Ulfgar would say, "Thank you, but no, this early hour does not agree with me."
He kind of gives you a little nod of acknowledgement. The insight check, you think that there's something else that he wants to know, so that's what he's waiting for.
I look at him, I said, "It's awfully early." I said, "We really need to get going with the rest of what we need to do, so, if your guy could get Flippy out here, we can be, get our pay, and we can be on our way and out of your way to finish whatever you need to do with these guys that brought these poor animals in this horrible condition."
Ulfgar would speak up and say, "I'm sure he's just checking with his men that what we did is actually true, as he should, because we didn't want to really bring them to your front doorstep. We did turn them over to your men at this station and that station, whatever,
He says, "As you say, I am just making sure that your end of the deal has been honored." He looks at you, Valia, and he says, "And trust me, our goals are the same." And he's kind of looking you up and down a little bit. You've got still blood caked around you.
Half wiped away.
I really don't want to have breakfast with these people.
You imagine her having a cup of tea.
After 10 minutes or so, his man returns, and Iffin, had in the meantime taken a seat on this very kind of decorative chair. It's a high-backed chair with satin cushions and gilded arms, and he, as soon as his man enters, he gets up and walks over to him, and there's some whispering going on.
Ulfgar just waits patiently with a smile on his face.
Okay. And then shortly after, you see Flippy comes in as well. He's being led by somebody who looks like he's an animal trainer as well. So he's being led by this guy, and Flippy is returned to you, Valia.
Yay! I clap. I walk over to him and I look at the guy. And I'm like, did he learn anything new?
He says yes, and he shares a series of commands with you that he has taught to Flippy that I will fill in on Flippy's sheet.
That's fine.
So
I just tuck the little scroll that he gives, the little parchment that he gives me of commands and stuff, and put it in my pouch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he does a little bow to you, and then he leaves. But Iffin turns to you and says, I understand some of my cargo is missing.
I apologize. I thought that we had brought everything. We did more or less ransack the ship itself. It's still moored in the harbor.
I look at him. I looked that whole ship over, and I got every cage, every animal that was in there.
It's
I
possible
didn't see
that they
any
pushed
that were left.
items over before we were able to apprehend them, but I doubt it. We did pluck a few of them out of the water as it is, but this was all the cargo that we had available for any of your exotic animals. Every time he says animals, he kind of accents it a little bit more.
He says, what was in the big cage?
It was empty. I don't know if there was something intended to be in there, but it was empty, which is what we used to, as you know, your men have told you, to get all the guys that were there. Part of this horrible deal, we put them all in there. That way we didn't have to, chain them up and traipse them through the whole city.
I'm not sure if you're aware, but we do have a friend of ours that has the ability to fly, and they did do a check around. It's possible that they released whatever it was, with the intention of recapturing it, I would presume, if there was another creature in there, but otherwise, yes, we did not have anything in the cage.
Valia, could you make a deception check as well? Or one for Ulfgar, but okay. 1 second.
This is gonna go so wrong, Lissa. Just don't eat the prince. Just don't.
I'm debating on using luck or not.
Just don't eat the prince.
Okay.
He would taste so rich.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, I think luck would be a good idea. No, I'm kidding. I don't think we're supposed to see that. But.
Well, no, actually, it's one that I didn't mind showing you. Okay. He seems convinced somewhat, or he seems skeptical, but accepting. Let's say it that way.
Yeah, the feeling is mutual.
Oh. Indeed. So he says, he goes over to a desk that's in this room as well, and you see.
I asked him real quick. I said, before you run off, I said, is there what could you tell us what we might be missing? Because in case we overlooked an extra cage, or I'm just trying to kind of like let him know that hey, we tried. We genuinely looked for extra animals or whatever.
He says, He says, unless you found some kind of inventory log when you were ransacking the captain's quarters, he says, I do not know what they would have been transporting.
That's a good question.
I pull out the crude map. I was like, this is all I found, and like kind of unravel it for him and be like, this is all I found, really. Like, I didn't find an inventory, and I ransacked the captain's quarters.
I don't suppose that map had a route of where they came from, did it?
It's really crudely made. Very crudely made. I look at it. I'm like, as you can see, I don't think whoever their cartographer was very good.
He's like, this doesn't tell me anything I didn't already know. He's like, but to answer your question, without such a lock, I would not know what they would have been transporting.
Okay. Oh, unfortunately, I'm sorry. This is all that I did find. I did look for while I was ransacking, I did look for some kind of inventory list. You know, you would think people of this kind of organized caliber of, you know, squandering things in, they would have some kind of inventory list.
Ulfgar would speak up at this point and say something that Valia probably isn't going to like as much, but Ulfgar is going to volunteer information and say, I understand that we did our best to follow your orders as required, and we weren't able to, as there was loss of life, though thankfully it was not among those that were law-abiding citizens. So if you do feel that you need to reduce the reward due to the fact that we were not able to complete it as requested, I would be accepting of that.
He says, unfortunately, he says, there will be a small deduction for cleanup of the mess that you have left. He says, but, he says, nevertheless, you did fulfill most of your commitment. So, and he's reaching in his pocket and he pulls out a set of keys and unlocks the desk. and it pulls open the drawer, and you can't really see what he's doing exactly unless you're going to kind of peer over.
Nah.
No, I'm just side glancing at Ulfgar. I'm just kind of looking at him. I really don't trust this guy at all. I never did. So I just kind of like staring at him out of the side of my eye and just kind of shaking my head a little bit.
Ulfgar just waits, hoping that things are going to speed along because he wants to be on his way.
Flippy is just standing there, by the way, very quietly. Very, very. This is the most demure you have ever seen Flippy. He's being very good boy, very good. So he does, Ifan does pull out kind of a purse and hands it to you, Ulfgar.
He takes it, bows slightly, and says, will there be anything else, sire?
He says, no.
Thank you, and have a good day to you. He says kind of stumblingly as he...
Have a good day.
he then just turns around, backs out and kind of takes Valia with him if she'll go.
I just kind of nod my head to him like I usually do, and I tell him, and thank you very much for teaching Flippy some other commands and stuff. I appreciate it. It may help him while we're in the jungle.
He gives you a little kind of nod of acknowledgement.
I walk out behind Ulfgar with Flippy in front of me, and I still kind of like glance out of the corner of my eye from time to time.
And Ulfgar makes like fake conversation on the way out, like, we should be on our way, we can't be late for our appointment, etc. Blah blah blah. Just until they're out of the city. Actually, they're not gonna be out of the city. We're gonna go and try and meet up with the other guys, and if we have any time before then, we're probably just gonna sit there and take a short rest at least.
We have to go to the docks to meet them for the cart.
Yep.
Yep. So the sun is rising as you leave Prince Ifan, and he doesn't like see you out or anything like that. So you leave there, and the city is kind of beginning to wake up. You know, people are, especially in the harbor area, fishing boats are heading out, and there's general activity around the dock. And you head, per the directions that Callisto gave you, to meet up with the captain and her first mate, who were providing you with the cart and crate. And you don't see the captain there, but you do see her first mate there, and they're waiting there with the cart and crates, and there's a pony as well for the front of the cart. So that is ready for you to collect.
So Ulfgar would speak with them and say, just to make extra sure, and he'd go through the list of the number of people that would need to be on board, plus the crate for, obviously, the golem. And then they'll need some kind of large tarp for covering a horse that they would be bringing along with them.
He says, I don't have a tarp for you.
Can I pick one up quickly, then? I would pay you for it.
He's like gesturing around.
Well, I mean, like on the way out, can we just stop by and I'll pick one up on the way out of the city?
He says that you'll be able to get one down in the red market. He says.
All right, I'll be back, and I'd go down.
He's
to the
looking at you like, what do I look like tarps are us, you know?
Well, he's just
like,
making sure that, you know, that the guy is aware of all the people that we have going on this trip and that everything was communicated properly. That's all. Just double checking stuff.
Okay.
So then he'd go and buy a large tarp that would perhaps conceal our newest companion if needed. As he wouldn't want to put her in any kind of box or cage in the future.
Yeah, good luck getting her in the crate, just saying.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. So therefore, if worst case, she might like hide under a big blanket. So who knows?
I'm glad you considered that. It's very warming.
we're wanted criminal good guys. So it's
oh, you know, really. Anyway.
The Zentarum would like to find us.
Yeah, so you can stop by the red market. It happens to be on the way out. If you're taking the same road as that your companions took.
Yeah, sure.
And there's not like too much open at this point. You know, day is just kind of breaking.
Mm-hmm.
People are just starting to get up and about and get their stalls opened and whatnot. And so there's not too much selection, but you are able to buy like a large blanket, like you said, not a tarp so much as like a kind of like a big like oversized horse blanket.
Perfect.
Its purpose was probably for like actually one of the big dinos, but I think it will do nicely for what you intended for.
Perfect.
I'll just feed Flippy a couple bits of dried fish.
So mark a couple of gold off for that.
Sure thing. I have yet to mark off the gold from the things that we purchased previously, but okay. I'll mark that off for now.
Okay.
Quick question. On the way out and stuff, I would be talking to Lissa saying, that navigational chart, does it actually have any clue of anything that you've seen about where they may have obtained their cargo?
I look at it and I'm like, it's really bad. Like, really bad.
Yeah, it's more of a general map, you know, general sea chart than it is like, and there aren't any markings on it like Fred's house or here's where we get the loot, you know, or there isn't anything like that specifically marked on it. It's just a general sea chart.
Okay.
The one thing you do notice that's actually a little curious is, hang on one second, actually I need to look up the name because there's a name that's written across the center of the Bay of Cholt, which is,
I tell him, I said, it's mostly sea maps, no, not really a bunch of land maps, but it could help us navigate if we don't, you know, in case somebody, whoever's helping us the ship, could help them maybe.
Well, I think our most important thing is to find out where our friend came from, if we're to return her to that place. I can't exactly ask for favors of a shipment of her off to some shore that we don't know where that is.
Yeah, I get the feeling she is definitely about as far away from this place as we were, so it's probably going to take a while to figure out how to get her back.
So this is the name, Aramag, that you see marked. It's written across the Bay of Chult.
Okay.
I'll point that out and I'll say, well, maybe whoever is going to captain our ship, I'll ask about this when we get on.
Okay. So then I'd ask Velia if she could, kind of show the cart driver guy the route or where we need to get to with this cart. So 'cause I'm assuming that we're just all riding in the cart together and he's driving the cart, right?
Yeah, sure.
And then I recommend that the two of us get a rest in the cart while he takes us.
Yep. And he's a Chultan, commoner, just happens to be able to kind of drive horses. Yeah, he's just happy to sit on the front of this cart with this little pony. Yep, got a crate in the back. You two can kind of lean up against it and take a nap.
Okay.
Are you going to? Is your plan to head straight to the meetup point with Dragonblade and Artis?
Bless you. Yes, that was the plan, that we would meet everybody.
That was
there.
the plan.
Okay.
Because we have a vessel scheduled,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
and we have to pack Vorn, so we just really have to head out.
Yeah. So let's go back to the other party then for a sec. So you are able to take a long rest, and then feel fairly well recovered from that, and wake kind of early afternoon. So
Great. Ayla's probably taken the time to try and tidy herself up a bit and eat some more and drink some more to try and get back some of the strength she lost on the ship. But she steers out to the road that we have come from, hoping to see the others return.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to wait and see if you see them, or head out?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, me either.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So you could wait probably a couple of hours, and then trundling, well, maybe a little longer, but eventually trundling past comes this cart, and it has it's a wooden cart, right? It has being drawn by a pony. As a kind of dark-skinned man sitting at the front of it, in regular kind of looking clothing, and in the back of the cart there's this big wooden crate and a couple of sleeping companions. Right, you hear the dwarven snores before you even see the cart.
Oh, that's tricky, the commoner. No, I think Ayla's brazen enough that she would, against her own possible safety, she would trot alongside the cart and and try and shake the shoulder of one of the companions without even bothering to alert the driver of the cart. So if he sees her, but she doesn't care.
Yeah, so Valia, you get this kind of shake on the shoulder, and as you're doing that, the Chilton becomes aware that somebody's riding alongside, and he kind of turns back, looks back at you, Ayla, and gives you a nod, and then goes, "Oh." Like at first he thought you were just a horse and rider, and then sees that you're actually
The
completely.
rider's just a little more forward than they normally should be.
It's gonna be a thing. The Ayla double take.
Okay, I guess I'm like, what? I'm like, Flippy, stop.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I failed to mention, also in the back of the cart, there is this rather large bird. He's got his beak is kind of this big wedge shape. And he is not sleeping at all. He's kind of sitting in the back of the cart, bumping along. He's like looking as they're riding, and the other two are just snoozing away.
Ayla does her own double take, realizing while she's shaking her awake that there's this enormous bird in the back of the cart, and she kind of stops trotting for a moment and says, calls out, "Driver, please halt."
Yeah, he's still kind of in shock a little bit himself, so he absolutely pulls the pony to a halt, and looks at you a little bit warily, like he's not quite sure what's going to happen next.
Where's Tobias, Arak, and Callisto?
Right, that's why. Ayla again, completely oblivious. No, not oblivious, but uncaring to the danger that might be presented to herself by being so brazen. She says, the others are back in a clearing we rested in.
Oh,
I just needed to stop you while we gathered our things.
Sorry, I guess I was asking like in game or out of game, but yeah, that would be Ulfgar's response. He'd wake up and be like, "Oh, goodness," and then he'd ask that. Yeah, so right. She's a friend of ours. As he kind of looks back and forth between her and the driver.
Yeah, the driver's looking backwards, forwards between all of you, like, what the heck?
Remember, I said and one horse. Yeah. Sorry. No offense, as he kind of holds his hands up to her. That's more or less going to be her. So, yeah.
None taken. Horses are my family.
I just sit up. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, why are you out in the open?
I saw you and I needed to gather you.
I just sigh. I look at the driver. I give him 2 gold. I'm like, you saw nothing. You don't say anything. Just do your job. Yes. I shake my head yes and give him the 2 gold.
He wide-eyed nods yes.
Ayla trots off back to Tobias to try and get to spur them on as well.
I look at Ulfgar and I point and I just shake my head like, oh, come on, can we just get this circus act on the road so we can get done?
So what are you talking about? You're part of it.
I look at my arms. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, half of them think that you belong in one of their cages in there as well. But either way, we're all going to be maintaining the peace as best we can, right?
Sure. We just need to get going.
Yeah. All right, well, let's see if we can get the rest of the party up here in the cart, and then we'll be on our way. Meet up with the rest of the group.
Rest of the party, you mean only Callisto?
No, you and Arak and Callisto. Obviously, the one... I don't think that Arak would really be in the cart. Arak might be next.
I prefer to ride along you.
Okay.
Rather fly along you.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. It's probably for the best anyway. You get to see if anything's going to attack us and kill us first.
To save Callisto shapeshifting, Ayla offers to give her a ride.
Oh my gosh. Callisto would be all about that. She loves riding things.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
And she doesn't actually need horse riding proficiency because I'm still in control.
nice. Yep. So she'll kind of lean back and watch the world go by, and yeah. So the group is all together and all heading up to meet with the folks you've left behind, and yeah, I think that's probably where we'll leave it for today. The group kind of not quite the sunset, but you're riding off into the afternoon sun, out into the jungle a little bit to meet up with your friends.
Awesome. All right. So I think we're ending it there, yeah?
Yeah, that's my plan, if that's all right for everybody.
I'm all right.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for
Hey.
joining in, Rolex.
Yeah, thanks.
Good stuff.
And of course, everybody else. Thank you, everybody in the group here, for as usual, for coming out. And we'll continue most likely next Sunday. I don't know. We always have to check with the group after this just to make sure everything's good to go. But thanks, everybody, for coming out to see. And I hope you all had a good time. We'll see you all next time. And don't forget, you can check out Nerevar and the link that was in chat, and Rorax as well. And would you stop? Stop. And I'll put those links in the description of the YouTube upload afterwards. So, good night, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.